Oh, that's just brilliant. Massive props to our production team. I absolutely love that. What a touch. 0800 353 1999. I tell you what, they're absolutely hilarious, aren't they? But what is unbelievable is how accurate it is, because this is exactly what Manchester United have been doing. Maybe sabotaging themselves by harking too far back into the past. Mickey Gray, I mean, it's just what they seem to do. It's just that this club is not that club anymore. They've gone for Michael Carrick again. It seemed the only two managers available, the only names in the frame were Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Michael Carrick. It's a gamble, would you say, Mickey Gray, that could go right but also could go horribly wrong?
I actually think it's a safe bet, Reshman, if I'm completely honest with you, because I don't think there was too much pressure on Michael coming back to Manchester United. I think with his track record of being an ex-player, being in the dugout on 3 occasions, and did okay in those 3 games, I think it was quite like a comfy blanket, if you like, just to bring Michael or Ollie back. I think the big question's going to come in the summer is, if Michael does well, and we spoke about this a little bit earlier, if Michael does well, is he given the opportunity to take Manchester United forward, or do they then go into the market and have a look at, well, Oliver Glasner, we know he's available now. Unless something happens to him, there's going to be 3 or 4 other managers that are going to want to take this post. But who wouldn't? If you get offered the opportunity to manage Manchester United, you jump here. There's no question of that. But Michael knows he's got these 17 games in charge with no distractions other than Premier League football now. If he gets results, then a big question will have to be asked in the summer.
But the thing is, the pressure is on because there are only 17 games to make an impact. Manchester United not in European football this season, out of the cups as well on the domestic front. You've got managers who are available right now. Oliver Glasner, yes, in the summer. You've got Enzo Maresca, okay, that might be a controversial one. You've got Xavi of Barcelona, who, how would that be, compared to up against Pep? You're looking at, there's Zidane, he's available as well. Why aren't they going elsewhere?
Well, $1 million question, isn't it, Reshman? I think those managers that you mentioned probably want to take the Manchester United job, but they probably want £25 million a year to take that job and £350 million to spend in the transfer window. I think that's where Manchester United are. That's where Manchester United want to be. You talk about the last 15 years. Well, they've got to forget about that and they've got to look towards the future. If you keep looking back all the time, you're just going to stay static.
That's exactly the problem, isn't it? That everyone would say that Manchester United have been in the last few seasons. Well, look, the players are lining up in the tunnel. It is an absolutely huge game. How can Manchester United hurt Manchester City in this one, Stuart Pearce?
Well, I think we talked about the defensive lineup of City as well. They're going to have to get Mbeumo doing what he's good at, running in behind. Whenever I've watched United this year, Ahmad's been he's been the biggest threat for me when he's on song a little bit, his ability to take people on, and Aki's got a big job in dealing with him. I think that's key for me. If they deal with Ahmad, it'll really dent United's opportunity of hurting them, but that's the big one for me. Ahmad's match up against Aki and Mbeumo running in behind.
We've seen Foden and Haaland so prolific, haven't we, in these Manchester derbies, but they've got a new man, Antoine Semenyo. How on earth are they going to stop him?
Now, there's a
so unpredictable. He's so unpredictable, and he can do absolutely everything, and he's so intelligent on the pitch as well, so fast. Tell me, how are they going to do it?
Well, put it this way, Luke Shaw's been around the block a fair bit. Whether you think his legs are going slightly at the moment, I think today is a massive test for him. The key is with wide players, no matter what those wide players are, Mickey will probably agree with me, stop the supply line. Get your position right, get your angles right, and send out a message to his City teammates. The pass isn't onto him. I can't afford to let him get it to feet and have a run at me.
Such a special game.
I couldn't agree with that more.
Sorry, Mickey.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with Stuart more there, Reshman. I think you look at Manchester United's side, and if you ask the question of who could play wide for them, who's going to help out defensively as well, the two you'd pick would be Ahmad and Patrick Dorgu. I think Sam's touched on it as well. They could actually play as a 5 at times.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just said that, Reshman, but I saw it at Burnley when they threw 2-2.
Yeah.
And Patrick Dorgu actually dropped into a 5 at times when they played against Burnley. I'm not quite sure you'll see that today, but I think he will have to help Luke Shaw out a lot today.
Pep has actually alluded to the point that they actually could as well in his pre-match ramblings as well. Just say they could be a back 4, they could be a back 5, and we've seen a back 3 all season. But well, this is the one thing we do know is that Manchester United have only had about 3 days to prepare for this game under Michael Carrick, so it will be fascinating to see what happens out on the pitch. But it does all go out the window, doesn't it, when it is Derby Day? Well, interestingly, only one of 6 Manchester United managers have ever won their first Premier League match in charge of United, and that was in fact the much maligned Ralph Rangnick back in 2021. He was the man who declared that this club needs not a quick fix but open heart surgery. I'm sure many would argue that he had a point back then, and most certainly now. Stuttering and spluttering, inconsistent and incoherent, the glory United days, particularly those under Sir Alex Ferguson, have long fallen by the wayside as the noisy neighbours and others around them have overtaken them, exposing time and time again just how far the club have fallen into an identity crisis. And I tell you what, it hardly helps that Pep Guardiola boasts an impeccable record against United at Old Trafford. He's won 7 of his 14 games there. Well, Michael Carrick's heading out onto the pitch right now. He knows all about this rivalry. 2 clubs with no love lost between them. 2 managers in wildly differing moments of their careers. 1 city, 1 rivalry, and 1 huge game coming up for you live and exclusively on Talksport. What an atmosphere at Old Trafford. It is just the small matter of a Manchester derby. Take it away, Stuart Pearce, Mickey Gray, but first, Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Reshmin. Welcome everyone to the Theatre of Dreams. When Michael Carrick was anchoring the United midfield, this club, nestled next to the River Irwell, regularly painted the town red. But long before his departure, the noisy neighbours have been turning the air blue. He won 12 major trophies as a Red, but unless his tenure extends beyond the summer, he won't be winning any as the Manchester United manager. Out of the League Cup to Grimsby, out of the FA Cup to Brighton, and they didn't even qualify for continental competition. His job is simple: take them back to Europe, improve the players and restore a sense of pride. There's no better way to do that than by beating your nearest rivals. Pep Guardiola has turned City into a constant winning machine. Possession, pressing and potency, his experience, his ideas, his trophies, they're woven into the recent history of Manchester's blue half. The power balance in this city has tilted in Guardiola's favour in recent years, yet in Manchester nothing stays still for long. From music to industry, from gritty terraces to shining new towers, reinvention is in this city's DNA. The country road has taken Michael Carrick home to Old Trafford, the place where he belongs. And today he starts Kobbie Mainoo, record to the starting lineup in the Premier League for the first time since May, in a side that makes 5 changes from the game in the FA Cup against Brighton. Lomans is the goalkeeper. Dalot, Maguire, Martinez and Shaw the back 4. Casemiro and Mainoo. Ahmad, Fernandez and Dorgu. Behind him, Burmo, the top scorer in attack. Manchester City start Phil Foden, 8 goals in 8 starts against Manchester United. Donnarumma is their goalkeeper. Lewis, Kusanov, Alain and Ake. Rodri holds in midfield. Semenyo, Foden, Silva and Doku. And Haaland up top. Right now, this is a City stirred. From Eccles to the Etihad, from Middleton to Monton, Chorlton to Cheetham Hill, Manchester unites for the 198th derby. Sit back, find out who's mad for it and who's just mooching around. The referee is a local, Anthony Taylor. United in red, City in light blue. City attacking the Stretford end in the first half. United towards the scoreboard end away to our right-hand side. And Stuart Pearce and Mickey Gray, the atmosphere is rocking. Old Trafford isn't perfect. The roof may be leaking, but the passion is watertight. How do Manchester United's defence stay like that, Stuart?
Well, listen, they're going to have to defend deep. They can't afford to cede that space in behind their back line, that is for sure, with the pace of Haaland and the clever movement. And stop the supply line to these two wide players, Doku and Semenya. That is absolutely vital. What a game we got on our hands today.
I just had a quick look at Casemiro and Mainu in the middle of midfield, and they were a little bit lost as to where Bernardo Silva had disappeared to. He'd wandered out to the left to combine with Doku early on. Ake onto Doku once again as he moves down the left-hand side. He gets towards the edge of the area, but there's a foul on Casemiro by Doku, and in the first 30 seconds it's going to be a free kick to Manchester United in the right full-back position. And I think they'll be quite happy to punctuate this game with stoppages, Manchester United, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, certainly in the early stages, but discipline's the key for me, for Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro. They can't keep drifting out to those wide positions and leave a huge gap for those three Manchester City midfield players to capitalise in those little gaps, if you like. So that's important in the early stages of the game for Man United.
I wonder if they're going to expect Casemiro and Mainoo.
Here's Mbeumo trying to burst in behind, something he loves to do and has done brilliantly, trying to beat Kusanov, who just steps across him and allows the ball to run out of play and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. But that's going to be key, getting Mbeumo in behind.
It certainly is. As I say, his movement there, he's looking to run in behind on that occasion. Kusanov dealt with him very well. And just looking at the Mainoo Casemiro scenario, we've just seen Casemiro coming out wide to help double up with Doku. I'm not sure he'll enjoy coming into that wide area, to be fair, to do that. But I think there'll be an expectation that they do slide across and double up if they can.
Oof. Poor touch from Nathan Ake on this near side, takes it out of play after Max Allain played him a rather simple ball actually from the edge of the penalty area, and Manchester United turn it over high up inside opposition territory. Here's Luke Shaw sending the ball long up towards Fernandes, who grabs it well, holds on to it. It's got Dogu in support down the left hand side, gets towards the edge of the territory, low ball into the near post, and Kusanov stretched out a leg and turns it into the scoreboard end and away for the first corner of the game. Well, it was an excellent bit of play by Manchester United, direct, getting the ball upfield very quickly, vertically into Fernandes, round the left towards Dogu, who's crossed into the box, and his crosses are regular into the box, was steered behind by Kusanov. Mickey Gray.
Yeah, well, they're on the front foot, aren't they, Manchester United, when they get the opportunity, and that's the areas when they have got to get that service into that Man City area.
Here's the corner, the first one of the game, to be taken by Bruno Fernandes, far on the other side of the pitch. He's right under the goalkeeper towards the back post. They hit the crossbar. Maguire was up there and he slammed it right against the frame of the goal. The first effort on the goal in this Manchester derby comes from Manchester United and the returning Harry Maguire.
Yeah, there was a really good block on there on the goalkeeper Donnarumma. He couldn't get anywhere near the ball. It's floated over him, and Maguire literally from about 4 yards out. Well, I'm overcooking it there. I'm looking at the replays. 2 yards out, he's got above Haaland, couldn't get it down enough to get it in the goal, and it's crashed against the crossbar.
He can't quite believe he hasn't scored, and I don't think the 74,000 inside this stadium and Michael Carrick can believe it either. It's a cracking chance for Manchester United with the first corner of the game, Mickey.
What question I want to ask you, I'm sure you've seen it as well. Who's marking Harry Maguire? Surely he's the biggest threat in a Manchester United shirt from set pieces. He's free to run away from every City marker around to the back post, 2 yards away. I think he should do better. I think he should score.
Max Allain has put the ball out of play on this near side. That combination between Ake and Allain just looking a little bit shaky in the opening 4 minutes of the game. You're listening to Talksport live at the Manchester Derby, the 198th Manchester Derby, and the ball has been played down the left touchline by Luke Shaw. Shaw plays it against Antoine Semenyo, making his third start in Manchester City Blue, having made such a good start to life at his new football club. Manchester United, not the only club this season where new year, new me applies specifically to the manager, but Michael Carrick is the 8th different coach to take the team in a derby since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Pep Guardiola's been at City so long He's seen as many Manchester United managers as he's won league titles. Here is Doku trying to get down the left-hand side. A tackle from behind by Amad Diallo. And that's going to be a free kick 12 yards inside opposition territory for Manchester City. Anthony Taylor blowing his whistle. We do have VAR today, by the way. It's restored after a weekend last week in the FA Cup, but we didn't have it. Craig Pawson is on duty today.
In that last break of play, I was just looking at...
Oh, and Mbeumo has dispossessed a lane. Goalkeeper Donnarumma has to come out and sweep clear, and he does just about, because Manchester United were through there. And I think even Manchester United's two front players, Dorgu and Mbeumo, didn't quite know how lucky they were that it fell in their path. Here come Manchester City on the response. Down the right side with Rico Lewis. Semenyo trying to take on Luke Shaw. He dances into the penalty area, feeds it to Rico Lewis. It's cleared away by Fernandes and out on the far side. What an opportunity for Manchester United. Dorgu and Mbeumo might have got in each other's way, Mickey Gray, after a mistake by the defender.
Well, watching the replay, I think Mbeumo stutters in front of Donnarumma. I think if he continues his run, it's a 50-50, yeah, for sure. But if you're brave, you get the first goal in a Manchester derby. He just waited a moment, a split second, to give Donnarumma the opportunity to clear his lines.
Yeah, when the ball was first played, I thought the goalie was nailed on to get sent off personally. You know, I thought he was second favourite, but he come out, he was determined, and as often happens this day and age, if you're determined enough and offer some aggression, people will get out your way.
Max Alain was the one who just dawdled on the ball, and Dorgu and Mbeumo both chased him down. Here's Fernandes, good touch. City look a little bit rattled in the opening exchanges here. Dallo bursting forward, plays it out to the right. It's picked up by Ahmad into the centre. Doesn't come through to Mbeumo because it's cleared away, but it does come to Mainu, who strikes down the throat of the goalkeeper. He had no power in it. It was a bit of a daisy cutter, and it's collected by Donnarumma. But it's an intense and intoxicating start to the 198th Manchester derby.
Yeah, a couple of minutes ago when we had a break in play, I was looking at Fernandes' body language. He was literally coaching Mbeumo and said, when I come short, you go long. And I think that's a tactic United certainly are going to look to employ.
He's nearly playing further forward than Mbeumo, which is incredible, really. But what I've noticed also, two wide players, the chance they've had to put the ball in the box, Sam, they haven't chopped back onto a stronger foot. They've just put the ball into the area. Even Ahmad on this right-hand side with his weaker foot, first-time cross to ask questions of that back line of City.
Yeah, Pep Guardiola didn't know what to expect from the team that he was facing today because of the change of manager and personnel. Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough team designed to keep possession inside the first two-thirds of the pitch and then attack quickly once they advanced into the final third. Tactically, for Guardiola to prepare for that, it was a bit of the unknown going into this game. But you've already seen, as soon as they get into the final third, crosses coming into the box and pressure being applied. Here is Kusanov, far side the Manchester City right, trying to feed the ball down the touchline. He was giving it up, and now Mbeumo can play in behind again, and Donnarumma has had to come off his line very quickly again to smother the ball after another mistake by the Manchester City defence, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, I think Donnarumma there has just demonstrated the life of a goalkeeper is about concentration. And those two elements that we've seen have probably just stopped United getting clear efforts at goal, the ability to sweep up behind the back line.
They look a little bit rattled so far, Manchester City. They need someone to put the foot on the ball and compose the play here. 8 minutes gone. Manchester City 0-0 away at Old Trafford, with Ake now in possession, coming forward down the left-hand side. He feeds it into Doku. Doku is 2 yards in from the left touchline, looking to take on Ahmad, goes down towards the byline, produces a cross, it bounces off of Ahmad, who got a good block on that, getting back to block the ability for Doku to cross. It goes out for the first Manchester City corner of the game.
I think that's obviously why he's in the team, Ahmad, to help out Diego Dalot, and I think they'd be quite happy if they can get Doku running down on the outside, crossing the ball with his weaker left foot.
Two big chances for Manchester United already in the game. They've hit the crossbar with Maguire from a corner. Now they're defending one at the Stretford end. Doku with the right-footed ball, which is so poor, it runs along the pitch, straight across the floor to Bruno Fernandes, who immediately looks to release Mbeumo. Mbeumo is going through the middle, trying to chase it, but Donnarumma's going to get there first. He was marshalled actually quite well by Rico Lewis, and it's gobbled up by the Italian and cleared away. That was a poor delivery by Doku from the corner on the near side.
Yeah, it was awful, and if you're going to give the ball away, don't give it away to Fernandes. I think he's critical in the game today in his movement to receive the ball deep, or as you mentioned earlier, the ability to go beyond Mbeumo.
Talksport live at the Manchester derby here in the west of the city, in Salford really. And if you look up in the sky, you can see dark grey clouds overhead. And then the ball picked up over on the far touchline by Foden, who fires the ball infield into the path of Silva. Silva is challenged by Dalot, and he's a little bit too hefty with his challenge on Doku. And the referee immediately blows his whistle. And there's a little bit of consideration that there might have been a bit of afters there. A yellow card for Diogo Dalot.
I think some of that yellow card is coming from the reaction of Doku at the moment, who's rolled over about 6 or 7 times. That's normally an indicator of you're not injured.
Well, seeing a replay is, Stuart, for me it's a fantastic tackle. But it's one of those tackles that if he doesn't make contact, and I'm not quite sure he does.
He got a little bit of the ball just about, but his foot flicked up, studs up, right under the knee of Doku. It's not a very nice tackle, that.
The follow-through, Sam, is nasty from Diogo Dalot. And I think it's one of those from probably mine and Stuart's days where, as a fullback, you're saying to yourself, I need to leave one on my wide player here. I think that's exactly what Diogo Dalot has done there. Is this being reviewed?
I would have expected it to at least be looked at, I've got to be honest.
I think if he's got a hint of ball there, I don't think it'll be upgraded in any way, shape or form. Personally, I think it'll be a really harsh sending off, but you stop the still picture and it looks worse than it is.
It does, yeah. I mean, he did get a little nick on the ball, which would probably help him out. It's a yellow card and no more for Diogo Dalot. As we continue here in the Championship, Ipswich are leading Blackburn, who are 20th in the division, by a goal to nil. Erin Cashin with an own goal in the first few minutes. Another poor delivery into the box from a set piece from the wide area from Manchester City. There's pushing inside the 18-yard box. That's going to be a free kick for Manchester United away to our left. We played 12 minutes on Talksport. It's Sam Motherface, Stuart Pearce and Mickey Gray here at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0 on Talksport with Sky Sports. And don't forget that with now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Manchester United versus Manchester City live right now. Search Now Sports. Just having a look at Michael Carrick in the technical area. He is United's new leader. He's got a long and distinguished career here in the background. He might not be a ranter and a raver, but he possesses a quiet steel of his own. Manchester United still has been given up to Haaland, edge of the area, who feeds it into Foden. The covering is by Shaw. Comes back to Haaland inside the area, though. He couldn't sort his feet out. It's nudged away by Maguire. Picked up by Semenyo, who overruns it and takes it out. But Manchester United there, Mickey Gray, guilty of giving the ball away deep inside their own territory and inviting City pressure.
Yeah, do you know, it's them silly little sloppy moments from Ahmad where he's got no pressure on him whatsoever. Yeah, he can actually turn and start running into the opposition's half. Just tries to play a simple 5, 6, 7 yard pass to Casemiro, who's not ready for the pass because he thinks that he's going to play the ball forward, gives it away and just puts City on the front foot. No need for it.
I think that was half a shame as well, because Fernandes got himself in a really good position to link play, build play and give it to Ahmad.
Dalot is offside as the ball comes down towards this near side. They just delayed the pass into him. Again, it's a strong vertical pass into Mbeumo, a stretch by Fernandes, and then Dalot didn't hold his run, which was the problem there, because otherwise he would have been in a perfect position to try and release Ahmad and get them on the front foot. They were a little bit too eager, Manchester United. A second Ipswich goal. Taylor with the goal after 12 minutes. Jordan James has scored for Leicester away at Coventry. It's Coventry 0, Leicester 1. It's still Watford 0, Millwall 0. They're the latest scorelines from the Championship. In the Women's FA Cup, Chelsea have taken the lead against Crystal Palace. Millie Bright with a goal after 13 minutes. It's still 0-0 between Sunderland and London City Lionesses. 0-0 in League One in both the games there, and 0-0 in both the games in League Two this lunchtime. We're live on Talksport, and we've got the Manchester derby for you here. Pep Guardiola's team have drawn the last 3 games. They haven't drawn 4 successive Premier League games since a run of 7 in a row 17 years ago. Here is Antoine Semenyo trying to get them on the front foot and test Senna Lomans for the first time. His left-footed ball into the box is headed goalwards by Bernardo Silva. Should have probably done better with that header, because he got away from his marker and headed it over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, I think City need to start asking a few more questions of this back line of Manchester United. They haven't really been tested as of yet, Sam. We talked about the forward players who've looked really bright in the game, but defensively, Semenyo to put a decent ball into the area there. And you can see the space that Bernardo Silva has. He's probably the smallest man on the pitch. and he's got acres of space to just head that towards the United goal. And you're right, probably should do better with it.
Mainu leaps, wins the header in midfield, but Manchester United lose the ball quickly, win it back again through Dorgu far side. Mainu keeps them in possession. Shaw takes it wide of Semenyo, elevates it down the left-hand side, and Mbomo is trying to test Kusanov for pace. So the Uzbekistani comes across and nudges it out brilliantly, and it goes out for a throw-in deep inside Manchester City territory, wide on the left-hand side with Manchester United on the attack. 0-0 the score. There's a special kind of electricity in the air today at Old Trafford, mostly from the fans wondering which United will turn up. United that fizzes and pops like in parts of the game against Bournemouth and Newcastle, or the one that can often blow a fuse. Well, right now they've spent the last 5 minutes on the back foot, but certainly the first 10 minutes of the game they were highly charged. They're coming forward now once again with a long throw in towards Maguire. Rodri uses his muscle to get away from Maguire and clear the ball to the halfway line. Lisandro Martinez back to Senna Lomans. Senna Lomans, the goalkeeper, takes a touch to the right and then diagonally plays the ball out towards the far side. It was a little bit too firm, the contact. Drove the ball forward, but Mainu has picked it up in front of Semenyo. Now trying to release Dorgu, but it's picked up by Dorgu after a mistake by Kusanov again on the edge of the area. He's dragged to the floor. They want a free kick. They're not going to get one. The Manchester United fans wanted a free kick on the edge of the penalty area. They didn't get it, and then Rodri is fouled by Luke Shaw, who is booked for an over-aggressive tackle on the Spaniard. Over on the far side, he was a little bit late, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the ball he's got, you can never tell, but I think there was a bit of venom in there because the earlier potential free kick on Dorgu wasn't given. I think the referee got it right, you never know, but once again Kusanov and Manchester City looking a little bit vulnerable with delaying on the ball too long and getting caught.
0-0 the score, and the Manchester United fans, who have had a theme actually since they walked in here today, questioning the integrity of the Manchester City team. They had banners up about the 115 charges in the Stretford end before the game, and that's what they continue to chant about here. The Manchester City fans are responding in kind by talking about the fact that Manchester United haven't won anything for a very long time, but the atmosphere absolutely brilliant inside this stadium this afternoon. We're live on Talksport.
I don't think the game's settled down to any pattern at the moment from either of the teams, which is added to a really good game.
I was going to say, thank God for that.
Exactly that. We weren't expecting a United performance from the offset, I think, and I think they've delivered one so far in their performance.
Dorgu down the right to Ahmad, back to the halfway line. The right fullback is Dallo. He goes all the way to his centre half in Harry Maguire, and then across to Lisandro Martinez, the Argentine, who fires it forward into the path of Fernandes. Lovely ball to Mainu, clips the ball out to the right side. Dallo receives it. He's got Ahmad on the near touchline if he wants to use him. Oh, it was a poor pass from Dallo. Terrible pass from Dallo, which goes well beyond Ahmad and straight out play down by the corner flag. And what an opportunity that was to play the Ivorian into space.
Yeah, really poor pass. But going back from that, the ball into Fernandes once again. He's picking up really, you know he's an intelligent player, but you just look, every time United do anything decent, it goes through him.
Well, we've played 18 minutes and it's been edge of your seat stuff so far on Talksport, with already Manchester United crashing the crossbar from a Harry Maguire header, and Manchester City having a free header inside the penalty area from Bernardo Silva. Both teams have had brief chances, brief flurries. There's been a time when Manchester City have been penning United back, but more often than not, the chances have come at the other end, at the scoreboard end, where Manchester United have looked a little bit sharper and have forced Manchester City into errors. Ahmad chasing, putting pressure on Max Alane. It goes to Kusanov, whose ball from right to left is perfectly executed into the path of Doku. Doku into Ake. Had some strong, robust challenges, and Doku has been a victim of one of those. Into Ake, moving down the left once again. Doku trying to take on Mbomo. He goes across and just puts pressure on him, and then they go centrally into Rodri, and now Manchester City just trying to add a little bit of a dose of composure to the game. But again, Kusanov not entirely secure in his handling of the ball, and then has to turn it all the way back to Maxilane inside the centre circle.
Well, that pattern of play, Sam, that Stuart was just talking about now, you can see City are just trying to keep hold of the ball for a little while.
Here is Ake down the left-hand side, moving into an advanced position, and he just overruns the ball. It goes out of play, and it goes out for a goal kick, and then there's a little bit of afters between Maguire and Bernardo Silva, and then Maguire goes over and just diffuses the situation after he'd thrown Bernardo Silva into the DHL ball behind the goal away to our left of the Stretford end. They've made up now, and things move forward. Bradford 0, Cardiff City 1 in League One. And Cardiff top of the table and could be stretching their lead to a good 7 points this lunchtime if they manage to secure that victory. Still Leicester 1 up in the Championship, Ipswich 2 up against Blackburn, and 0-0 Watford Millwall. Remember, there's loads of EFL action, including Coventry Leicester, live right now on Talksport 2. Well, we can breathe for the first time in 20 minutes, Mickey.
Yeah, we could talk about City's performance. As I just touched on, Sam, I think they need to try and get a stranglehold of that ball for a little bit longer and just grow into the game. Because in the forward positions, they haven't really asked many questions. One question, if all, through Bernardo Silva from that header. Semenyo's hardly grew into the game. Doku on this left-hand side's kind of just about shaken off that knock from
Won
earlier.
by Casemiro ahead of Foden, and then Ahmad starts a counter-attack for Manchester United. Fernandes peels out to the right. Oh, it's a good ball to Mbeumo. It might come to Dorgu instead, who hits it. It's saved brilliantly by Donnarumma, down to his left, and Dorgu's effort is repelled. Great ball by Fernandes. Dorgu lurking at the far post. He got his shot away. Donnarumma saved it. It's still 0-0. We've played 22 minutes in the Manchester derby. Here's Doku at the other end. Back in field it goes, into the path of Bernardo Silva. City looking to respond here. Ball back to Ake. Ake holds it. Manchester United retreat into shape. And Manchester City look to try and find a way to cut past Manchester United now. They go on to the right with Rico Lewis taking on Dorgu down the far touchline. Into Rodri it goes. It goes back towards Kusanov. Again, he miscontrols it. That just takes the momentum out of the attack. He has to go backwards rather than forwards. And then Manchester United could just come out and put a bit more pressure on the ball. Ake out to the left. Now Doku looking to travel down the left-hand side. A lovely ball in towards the inside left channel, but it's too strong for Bernardo Silva. And it goes out of play and away for a goal kick. Here's Mickey Gray.
I think a Brian Mbeumo playing for Brentford takes that volley on as that ball comes into the area. It's a wonderful pass from Fernandes from this right-hand side. I don't know if he's had a little shout from Patrick Dorgu just in behind him, but Brian Mbeumo, who scored goals for Manchester United this season, I think he takes that on. The volley, Sam, there. Why did you not take the shot on? Yes, they get it out and Dorgu gets his shot away. That's a massive chance.
Big chance for Manchester United. Still 0-0. They've had the best of them so far. Dorgu has been sent down the left-hand side. He's kept the ball in far touchline. He moves into the edge of the area. Shaw takes over, elevates the cross into the box. It's too high for Fernandes. Out comes the very tall frame and commanding presence of Donnarumma. Grabs it and pulls it into his chest and bowls it out to Rodri. Does make such a difference, doesn't it, having a goalkeeper like that?
Oh, he's got such a presence in goal, and let alone coming to take the cross. The save before it as well was very good. I've got to say to Mickey as well, I thought it was set up for Mbeumo to hit it on the volley. He's obviously had a shout behind him. It's a difficult one to know what to do, but normally with goal scorers they'll ignore that shout and take it on themselves. But once again, a wonderful crossfield ball from Fernandes, I think, that set it up in the first place.
Well, the referee's call of a yellow card to Diogo Dalot for that reckless challenge was checked and confirmed by VAR, with the contact deemed to be glancing and not with excessive force. And that was the reason why it wasn't upgraded to a red card.
Yeah, look, Sam, you sat next to two fullbacks here, and the follow-through was meaningful.
Not glancing then, is that what you're saying?
Well, look, he's made contact with it, which is why he's got off the hook with a yellow card. But the follow-through, there's meaning in it.
Can we agree it was a meaningful glancing, Mickey? Just for clarity, yeah.
I don't want one of your meaningful glances. Here's Rico Lewis over on the far side. Into Semenyo as City come forward. 0-0 in the derby. Up towards the left-hand side where it's taken on by Doku. Jeremy Doku faced up by Diogo Dalot. He goes on the outside, gets to the byline, tries to produce a cross. It's blocked by Dalot. Good defending by him. And it's out for another corner to Manchester City at the Stretford end. This is Talksport, 25 gone, and this is our 250th commentary of the season so far, and what a game to bring you. It's 0-0 on Talksport between Manchester United and Manchester City with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it.
Once again, Ahmad back there, backing up Dalot. He didn't need him on that occasion, but just to have that security of your wide man dropping in behind you gives you great confidence.
You certainly need it with both fullbacks on yellow cards. Ball in towards the near post. Dalot away. Another poor delivery into the box, this time by Foden. Came right to the edge of the 6-yard box from the England man, and it was cleared away by Diogo Dalot, and now it's back with Donnarumma at the other end of the pitch.
I find it quite strange that you work all week on your set play, stuff like that, and all of a sudden we've had two different corner kick takers on this side, and both of them have got it horribly wrong.
We're here just right at the halfway line in the Sir Bobby Charlton stand at Old Trafford. Grey skies, but quite a temperate afternoon, not as cold and as chilly as it has been in recent days. And there's certainly a hot atmosphere inside Old Trafford. Michael Carrick standing in the technical area wearing a very smart black overcoat, black slacks and shoes, arms behind his back. Guardiola in a hoodie, arms folded, as Rico Lewis starts to dance down the right-hand side. He gets across into the box, but it's a low effort which is easily steered away. As the ball is released upfield by Dorgu, Kusanov stands in the path and nudges it out for a throw-in on the halfway line. It remains goalless.
I think from a tactical point of view, when United have had to defend deep, what they've done on the turnover is try to get that ball forward as quickly as they possibly can to runners going forward, and either had to go through Fernandes, which has been fruitful on occasion, or it has been delivered beyond City's backline, which I think is a good tactic against City.
Well, we haven't seen much of Erling Haaland. He's had the fewest touches in the game so far, only 4 of them, but that doesn't mean he's not going to come alive now as Foden comes forward, finds Doku, edge of the area, trying to squeeze the ball into the box. He's actually pushed off the ball by a combination of Martinez and Dalot, and then they clear the ball down the left touchline, but it's not the best of clearances from Dalot, it's straight to Ake. Bit of frustration with Diogo Dalot, I think, from the Manchester United crowd as Rodri pumps it forward into the path of Foden. Antoine Semenyo tries to go on the outside of Shaw. He stops the ball inside the penalty area. The two collide. It was a coming together according to the referee, and Dorgu will bring it clear for Manchester United. He skips past Lewis. Lewis makes a challenge. Free kick to Manchester United in the left fullback position, and they have possession of the football. Mickey Gray.
Well, both fullbacks in a 1v1 situation so far for Manchester United in the game have done really well. I said Diogo Dalot had to try and keep Doku on the left-hand side, and he's done it on a couple of occasions, and he's done really well. And Luke Shaw on this occasion with Semenyo, very good defending.
The ball headed away as it goes up into the City half of the field by Max Allain, the son of the former England all-rounder Mark Allain. He plays it out to Doku, then Doku into Rodri, then Foden slaloming forward. It might come through the Haaland in the area. Good touch by Dalot just in the nick of time. And then Fernandes looks over the top to try and release Ahmad down this right-hand side. He gallops into space. He's got Ake for company. Can he beat him? He comes on the inside. He manages to hold on to the ball well, then get room for the cross. In towards him, Burma with a glancing header, which doesn't manage to do enough to test Donnarumma. It wasn't even going on target, and it's gobbled up by Donnarumma.
If I was City at this moment in time, or they had eyes up in the stand, I would say someone's got to get in and around Fernandes all the time and stop the ball going through him. Once again, into him, great turn, and you know he's going to supply an intelligent ball forward.
You would expect that to be Rodri, wouldn't you?
Yes, you would, but if Rodri's going to look to help the build, all of a sudden he's not got an eye on Fernandes, and I think that's critical today, because if a United goal's going to come, where's it going to come from? I think it'll be a touch from Fernandes somewhere in the build-up.
There's a late challenge by Kobbie Mainoo on the ankle of Rodri, and they're just delaying the restart here while they check that with the VAR. The referee has now allowed play to continue. And Manchester City have the ball deep inside their own half. 29 gone on this intriguing Manchester afternoon, with Manchester United hoping to try and force their way up into the European places. They've got nothing else to chase. Manchester City trying to chase down Arsenal at the top of the table. And remember, for all the talk about how important this fixture is parochially to both supporters of Manchester City and Manchester United. It's incredibly important for Arsenal at the top of the Premier League as well. Ball by Lewis is blocked excellently by Casemiro. It spills into the path of Kobbie Mainoo, and then Casemiro tries to force it out wide towards Ahmad, who just about keeps control of it. He might have been in a slightly offside position, but he continues his run into the penalty area, tries to dance past the defender. Doku comes across and nabs it because he got the better of Ake, and was good doubling up by the winger. Really important as well as Manchester United continue to put pressure on. The ball won back by them high up, and Dorgu tries to feed it back into midfield, but he's challenged by Lewis. It's good defending by Lewis, and Manchester City have got it back again, Mickey Gray.
Right, Jeremy Doku, kudos to him. Brilliant defending from him. I want to see more from Semenyo. Every time he gets the ball in his own half, keeps giving it away.
Doku out towards the left-hand side, driving up the field. He feeds Bernardo Silva, gets it back, skips past Casemiro on the edge of the area, unleashes a shot, blocked by Mainoo. And it bounces towards the halfway line as Cardiff take a 2-0 lead away at Bradford in League One. Here is Rodri clipping the ball to Bernardo Silva, who's peeled away for a bit of space on the left-hand side. Out of the maelstrom of the midfield, he delivers a cross into the box, which is, well, too close to the goalkeeper, but nowhere near Erling Haaland. I think that goes out for a throw-in over on the far side. We've now played half an hour. It is Talksport. And Manchester United so far have put up a pretty good fight against Manchester City. And I mentioned it before the game, they always turn up in the big games, Manchester United, by and large. OK, there's been a couple of matches where that hasn't happened, but by and large, even at their lowest ebb, they come up with something in these big games, Stuart.
Yeah, they have, and they look to me as though they've got a decent game plan that they've worked on this week. You know, that they want to get the ball forward as quickly as they can. If they can't do that and go beyond in one, it goes through Fernandes, and from there they've been a bit of a threat, to be fair, and look reasonably secure at the back.
Sam Kerr and Guru Wrighton have added to Chelsea's league in the Women's FA Cup. 3-0 they're up against Crystal Palace as Manchester United come forward again over on the left-hand side. It's a little bit of a difficult ball for Dorgu, but he manages to keep it in play. He plays it infield into the path of Fernandes, and then it goes back out wide to Mainoo to Casemiro. Fernandes edge of the area looking for him. Burmo squeezed out by Max Alain, and Bernardo Silva goes down. There's half-hearted appeals for a penalty, but no more than that. And they're instantly waved away, given away on the edge of the area. He's in Burmo inside the box, and Kusanov gets back there. Fernandes had it on the edge of the area after Rodri had made a mistake, but instead of shooting, he looked for his teammate. He was already in an offside position, so it wouldn't have counted. But Kusanov got there in the nick of time anyway, just to prevent it. Why did Fernandes not shoot, Mickey Gray?
Well, Sam, I had a really quick look at the linesman after Bruno had played that ball. He's onside. The linesman shook his hands to say, no, he's onside. But the biggest surprise is, as you just said, why is Bruno not taking his shots on? Get it out your feet and ask the question of the goalkeeper.
Here's Fernandes again, onto Ahmad. Ahmad round the goalkeeper. Can he beat him? He's gone beyond him. He fires it into an empty net, and the offside flag goes up. Manchester United's celebrations are diluted with the raising of the linesman's flag. He danced around Donnarumma and put the ball into the empty net, but he has to wait now for a VAR check because it was a marginal offside.
I've got to say, the linesmen this day and age, and lineswomen, are absolutely outstanding at their work, and there's every chance he's got this one right, but it's close, there's no doubt. Yep, just off.
Looks to me like it's off. They're going to measure it with the semi-automated offside technology if that is working. Doesn't look to be too many bodies in the way, but he got away from Donnarumma, put the ball into the empty net. The Manchester United crowd exploded, but it is going to be offside, I think.
We're 30-odd minutes into the game, and 3 times now Donnarumma's had to hurry off his line. 2 he snuffed out. The last one he got nowhere near, and it ended up in the back of the net. We think it'll be chalked off, but that just tells you something.
You've got 2 centre-halves, Sam, that played really well for Man City in midweek, who look a little bit nervy today. And I've got to say, and I don't think I've ever said this very often, Rodri's given the ball away a lot.
Offside confirmed by the VAR, who is Craig Pawson, and Anthony Taylor gives the free kick, so there is no goal for Manchester United, but there is encouragement, I think, Stuart Pearce.
Well, there certainly is. United, for this first moments with the new management team, look as though they've got a game plan, look as though they're hurrying City, and to be fair, on the run of play, United have had the ascendancy and the better chances.
It's still 0-0 though, and whilst it's 0-0, Manchester City will still be the favourites. This is Talksport, live at the Manchester Derby. Remember, we've got more live football for you this weekend. Of course, we'll take you around the grounds with Adrian Durham. It's a super Saturday of action for the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and he will keep you in touch with absolutely everything, including those 2 big London derbies which take place at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Fernandes is penalised for nabbing the ball off Doku about 20 yards outside the penalty area. Free kick. But also keep you in touch with all the action from the Championship League 1 and right the way down through the divisions and the full classified check at 5:15 today. The phone in 03717223344 with the boys after 5:30 as well. The best and first national radio phone in. As soon as you come out of the ground later on today, if you're on your way to one now, you can phone Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy 03717223344. Here is Doku down the left-hand side, motoring towards the edge of the penalty area. He comes in on his right foot, produces a cross. That's not going anywhere. Senna Lomans, though, I think did get a touch on that as the ball went through from Doku. Well, he dived sort of wide of the goal, didn't touch anybody else, and they've given a corner as a result, Mickey Gray.
You've got to know your angles, and Senna Lomans will know that now. Your angles of your goal, and he must know that that ball is drifting wide of his far post, just to let it just drift out for a goal kick and put them under pressure now.
Yes, with 10 minutes to go before the conclusion of the first half. The corner to be taken far side from Foden. His left-footed delivery is much better than the other two. Ake with a head around the back, in towards Max-Alain. Good save by Lomans, who springs to his left and produces a brilliant fingertip save right next to the post. It came across to the far post. It was heading towards goal, and Lomans just about got there as Max-Alain headed it back towards the far corner.
Yeah, probably not enough pace on the ball to trouble the goalie, but the goalie had to make sure that was heading in, but no real pace on the ball, I don't think.
0-0 the score. Manchester United have only had 29% of the ball, but they've had some decent chances. 2 shots on target so far. Manchester City have just had their first one. Here is Jeremy Doku down the left-hand side. Back to Rodri. 37 on the clock, 0-0 on Talksport. Here on the left-hand side is Doku getting the ball from Bernardo Silva, who had been played in by Rodri. Now Ake left a corner of the penalty area, produces a cross which is headed away by Lisandro Martinez. He'll come back through to Lewis, headed on by Silva, away by Martinez, comes through to Semenyo far side. Dorgu is over there trying to harass him. It comes out of the penalty area, and Manchester City continue to put pressure on the United back line. Here is Kusanov. Far touchline is Antoine Semenyo. We haven't seen too much of him so far in an attacking sense for Manchester City today. Foden, edge of the area, trying to burst into the box. Shaw stops him, but only momentarily. Foden's got it back again. Now Semenyo, right side of the corner of the area. Back to Rodri. They're camped on the edge of the box here, lifting the ball into the area. The Spaniard away by Maguire. And then Mbeumo gets it clear. And now there's a run on to try and receive it over the halfway line. Alain against Mbeumo. And Alain just gets there ahead of the Cameroon star and gets it back to Donnarumma. But Manchester United's tactic is clear. Whenever they win the ball inside their own half, just get it up over the halfway line and chase as quickly as possible. Get runners in behind.
Well, the last 3 minutes of pressure from Man City have came from a mistake from Manchester United, Sam. That's why you've got to stay switched on in these games.
Well, that mistake was Senna Lomans touching a ball which was going well wide. Ball over on the far side by Semenyo. He made up from his mistake by making a good save straight afterwards, though. Here's Ake in space, 10 yards short of the Manchester United penalty area in front of the Stretford end, which is away to our left as we look at it here in Old Trafford. Semenyo into Lewis, back out to the far side, collected by Kusanov, and then back to the left and Ake. Ake travels down the left touchline, produces a cross into the box. It falls for Lewis kindly. He sets it back for Rodri. He sends it further wide for Semenyo, who strikes towards the far corner but misses the target. And Senna Lomans just stops and watches it flash past the post, and it remains Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0. Tranmere have just lost the goal against Walsall. Walsall have taken the lead with Farquhar Harston putting them in front this afternoon. It's 1-0 to Walsall. Let me just run through some of the other scores that have taking place already today, because we've got lots of games kicking off early across the country. In the Championship, Leicester still 1-0 up away at Coventry on 2. Ipswich 2-0 up against Blackburn Rovers. And 0-0 Watford against Millwall. In the Women's FA Cup, Chelsea lead by 3-0. It's 0-0 Sunderland against London City. Wigan 0, Bolton 0, Cardiff 2-0 up away at Bradford in League 1. In League 2, Chesterfield 0, Bromley 0, and Tranmere 0, Walsall 1. In the National League, Hartlepool 0, Altrincham 0 is the latest scoreline, and Hibernian 0-0 away at Dunfermline in the Scottish Cup 4th round. You're up to date on Talksport. Reshman will make sure you get all the half-time scores at the break from the London studio today, as Manchester United look to build again with Mainu, who's on the halfway line, and then the ball goes back via Dalot to Maguire.
I think looking at the game, and this is quite surprising for me, if someone said to me...
Fernandes played in over the top, the referees kept their flag down, and Fernandes is going through on goal. He goes round the goalkeeper, stops it, puts it into the empty net, and the flag stays down, and Bruno Fernandes runs away to the far side in celebration. The Manchester United crowd explode, and then the flag belatedly goes up from Gary Bezic on this near side, and Manchester United once again wait for the technology to do its work.
Well, we've had 4 occasions now in about 40 minutes where United have run in behind this back line of City and caused big problems, and the linesman's probably been their best defender for the last 10 minutes, I'd say. Yeah. Fractionally offside.
I think it's very tight, but he is actually offside. As long as the kick point there was right, then he is offside. Even he thought he was offside, Mickey Gray, because when he received the ball and went running through the middle, he glanced over his shoulder to look at the linesman.
Yeah, I think we see that a lot now, Sam, when you see that run from in behind, and Bruno Fernandes has done it on numerous occasions. What the worrying thing for me is this high line of Man City. You work on that in training. Well, if you look at how far Nathan Ake is behind his back line, that is a big concern for me, because
it's offside,
he's
so
defending
the goal
on his own.
Stand. Let's just make that clear. They very quickly checked that and passed that out. He is going to be disallowed here, Bruno Fernandes. But what I will say is this, is that Manchester United will be very disappointed, actually, that they're going to get to the break here without a lead, bearing in mind the chances they've had, Mickey.
Well, one of the things that Michael will be saying to his players, look, time your runs, and there's goals here for you today, because they don't want to get in behind Man City. They want to stay in that high line, be comfortable, but they don't look comfortable at all.
Yeah, they really don't look comfortable with that high line. Oh, and it's won by Fernandes away from a lane, but Rodri is there to fill in at centre-back. Manchester United again trying to get it forward. 42 minutes on the clock, live on Talksport in the Manchester derby. Here's Fernandes on the right side, right by the touchline, into Casemiro, to Mainu, to Casemiro, to Fernandes, to Mainu. They're keeping the ball inside City territory. That's good possession by Manchester United. And Michael Carrick trying to orchestrate things from the edge of the technical area. Very much looking in command. Lovely little swivel by Kobbie Mainu. A player reborn, maybe. Plays the ball out to the left. Shaw with a cross into the area. Mbeumo can't get it under control, but he pops up and he tries to swivel and hit it. Can't quite connect with it. The ball spills out to the far side. Dorgu's got it once again. Into central midfield with Casemiro. Casemiro to Dalot. Dalot into Mainu. A little flick into Dalot from Fernandes. It comes back out on the edge of the area, and City close ranks and just about get it clear. But it's Manchester United who are finishing the half stronger.
It's interesting. There's so much talent on the pitch, as you would expect in a Manchester derby. But if someone pushed me and said, where's the goal coming from, I would say someone's going to give the ball away at the back and make a mistake or delay on the ball too much that leads to the goal the way things are going.
Maybe it will be one of the Mavericks, Fernandes or Foden, that come up with the special moment. And actually, I was listening to the How to Win the World Cup podcast that we've got on Talksport this week, and they were talking about those magic players that can always provide the difference. In particular, and it's a brilliant podcast actually, Matt Ford, Alex Brooker and Emmanuel Petit. It's available on our Talksport app or wherever you want to get your podcast from, talking about Zinedine Zidane and the influence he had on games, and actually his temperament, which was absolutely fascinating. Petit, brilliant. And he also talks about what his World Cup winners medal looks like. That's How to Win the World Cup on our Talksport app. Here down the left-hand side is Doku, approaching the edge of the penalty area, back towards Ake, and then infield to Rodri. Rodri 30 yards from goal, sends it wide out to Lewis, who's got a bit of space here. He feeds it into Foden, who's got his back to goal. He's just outside the area now. We're into the final minute, ahead of the half-time whistle here at Old Trafford, where it's Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0, and a lot of credit's got to go, I think, to Michael Carrick and Manchester United for the way they performed in the first half, but they can't just rest on their laurels, because Manchester City have got weapons all over the pitch that can hurt them, and there's still a long way to go in the game. Doku to the edge of the area, Max Alane under pressure from Casemiro. They circulate the ball so well when they keep it high up in opposition territory. Into the last 30 seconds of the first half with Semenyo now down on the right hand side. They've horseshoed from left to right here, Manchester City, and United have dropped into a low block, and they're trying to plug all those areas where Manchester City love to exploit, those half spaces on the edge of the area. They forced them back to halfway. Now Alane travels down the side of the centre circle, nudges it back into the path of Kusanov, and he clips it out towards the left. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Mistake by Doku, does just about keep it in, and he nudges it out towards the far side. It's Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0. Here are the latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can back Manchester United to win at 2-1. It's 15-8 the draw, 13-8 for Manchester City to win. That's all thanks to Betfair. Playing a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. This is Talk Sport. Ake on the left for Manchester City, high up inside United territory. Alane down the touchline. Ake's taken that out. That's going to be a throw into Manchester United, and Michael Carrick just goes over, puts two palms to the sky and says, hold on, let's calm it down. The Manchester United players that aren't in the squad are just going down into the dressing room for the half-time team talk. Tom Heaton is there. You can also see Tyler Fredrickson and Joshua Zirkzee, who's picked up a knock and is not involved in the matchday squad today. They travelled underneath the south stand, and they're going back to be part of the group for the half-time team talk. Dalot throws it down the touchline, down the Manchester United right, and Bomo thought that he was being held by Ake. It's won by Mainu, picked up by Dorgu. Dorgu travels away from Rodri, who trips him, and that is breaking up the promising attack and should be a yellow card for Rodri. And eventually the yellow card does come out from Anthony Taylor. Mickey Gray.
Yeah, it took him a little bit of time, Anthony Taylor, but after the two from United, I was just expecting Anthony Taylor from the foul from Rodri just pick his yellow card out straight out of his pocket. It's the right decision. And look, Sam, you know, for once I've not had a look at stats in the game in the first half, United against City, and probably City have had more possession, a lot more, yeah, but the eyes are seeing Man United look a bigger threat to me.
Well, that's how it feels sitting in this stadium as we are here on Talksport. Ball sent up towards the edge of the penalty area. There's a collision between Haaland and Maguire, and the free kick is given against Harry Maguire. Haaland is staying down, and the referee has decided that that'll do for the first 45 minutes, and it has been a really fiercely competitive first 45 minutes, and that's the appreciation from the Manchester United crowd of their team's performance in that first 45 minutes. Manchester United and Manchester City have both drawn their last three in the Premier League, so it shouldn't be a surprise that in this territorial turf tussle neither have taken full control, but Michael Carrick will be the happier of the bosses at half-time. There is just a bit of concern here for Erling Haaland, who has stayed down on the edge of the Manchester City penalty area away to our right as we reach the half-time break. He gingerly gets back to his feet now, but he's a player that Pep Guardiola will not want to lose. Steve Holland and Michael Carrick in close conversation as they go down the touchline at half-time, where it's Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0.
Sam, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, what a first half, and what an explosive start for Manchester United as well. Michael Carrick certainly got his message across to this side, you'd have to say. Worrying to see Erling Haaland down, but he seems to be up and probably ready for that second half. Penny for Ruben Amorim's thoughts, because this is how Manchester United can play when they're on the front foot, Mickey Gray.
100%, Reshman, and I think in a derby game, you know, the first 5 or 10 minutes is always a war of attrition, and Man United came out with an intent that they were going to be stronger, fitter, better than Manchester City, and you send that message, whether it's coming from your fullbacks, your centre-halves, or just one individual player to say, you're in a game today, mate. And it felt like that to me from Man United and the atmosphere and the ground. I was like, right, they're up for this today. That is the most controlled and best 45 minutes of football I think I've watched from Manchester United in a long, long while. They haven't scored a goal and they're not in front in the game. But I think from back to front, I've been really impressed with them, Reshman, I have to say.
I was going to say, just the all-round performance, how hard they've had to work defensively, but how quick they've been on the turnover and bringing the ball forward as well, Stuart Pearce. So impressive.
Yeah, they're very well organised. They know what they're doing. The wide players have doubled up when they've had to defensively. Fernandes, for me, has been the star of their performance because he's knitted things together, coming short. And he cajoles players around him. I'm seeing him sort of coaching Mbeumo, telling him where to go and whatever. But United are the team that will be the happiest at half time. And we're just, for your information, everybody's gone in, the subs have gone in for both teams apart from Jerky and O'Reilly, and they're still out, and I've got a feeling they could both be coming on at half time.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Pep Guardiola has to shake something up in this second half. They've just been caught napping a couple of times, just at times a little bit sloppy in possession, but no sharp intent that we sort of assumed that they would come out with in this game, Mickey.
Well, 4 times, Reshman, in the first 45 minutes, because they're trying to play that high line and the clever runs in behind from Manchester United, albeit timed just unfortunately a little bit too quickly on their behalf. But 2 young naive centre-halves who we saw in midweek against Newcastle, who they competed and they played very well, but they looked nervy at the beginning of the game. And even the experience of Rodri's been given the ball away on occasions. Look, he's been in his battles today in that first 45 minutes, a couple of knocks himself. But I think you could see from Pep in the technical area, he tried to pull Rico Lewis into that converted fullback area, if you like, trying to play him in midfield to give Rodri a little bit of help. But as soon as he did that, Dorgu was out on the left-hand side, running in behind the fullbacks. Then you had Dalot on this right-hand side, getting in behind the fullbacks of Man City. And I think certainly Pep Guardiola at half-time's got a lot more to say to his players than Michael Carrick has.
It's interesting because he did allude to it actually in his pre-match thoughts. He just, he had no idea really what kind of Manchester United would be put out there, and Michael Carrick's had 3 days to turn this around. But has that sort of, I suppose, the air of surprise kind of caught him off guard a little bit, do you think, Stuart?
I just think the levels of performance from United maybe have, it's fair to say. I think none of us expected to come here today. I expected to see a fairly dominated performance by Manchester City, but they've given the ball away cheaply on occasion in their back line. They've passed it out of play in front of us probably on 4 or 5 occasions, from central defender to fullback and fullback to wide player, which is very uncharacteristic of them. And when they've got in advanced areas, they've recycled the ball quite well, but their 2 wide players haven't had the impact that probably myself and Mickey expected them to have.
I've just got to ask very quickly, I mean, Diogo Dalot, should he have seen red for that challenge on Jeremy Doku, which feels ages ago now, really early on in the game? He only got a yellow. Should it have been a red, Mickey?
Well, I never want to see players being sent off, Reshman, certainly for a challenge like that. And I think in his favour, he's made contact with the ball. But as I alluded to, if you go back to mine in Stuart's days, as a fullback, you wanted to leave one on your wide player as quick as you possibly could, where you won the ball, but you followed through and you looked at your wide player and you're in a game today, mate. No. It felt a little bit like that from me, from Dalot. I think he's had a very good first half, by the way, albeit he's given the ball away on a couple of occasions, but 1v1 he's been outstanding. But it was the follow through, and as Stuart said, if you freeze frame it or you slowed it down, it probably looked worse than it was. So I think yellow was right.
Yellow was right. Okay. Well, it is certainly Manchester United who are on the front foot in the ascendancy, but it is still goalless between these two sides. So it'll be a huge second half coming up shortly on Talksport. Over on Talksport 2, don't forget, it's Coventry against Leicester City, and Leicester City have taken the lead. They're a goal ahead at the CBS Arena. Elsewhere in the Championship, it's Ipswich 2, Blackburn 0, and it's also half-time at Vicarage Road. And here's Talksport's Ian Abrahams.
Whereas Watford 0, Millwall 0, not a great half of football if the truth be told. Best chances to Millwall. Caleb Taylor's header early doors tipped over by Selvek, and then we saw Femi Aziz and Alfie Doughty with shots that were high, wide and not very handsome from the edge of the penalty area. Not see much of, or anything really, of Imran Louza or Watford's front players. This can only get better. Watford 0, Millwall 0.
Thank you very much, Moose. Just to update you on some of the other latest scores, then in League One it's Bradford City 0, Cardiff City 2, and Wigan and Bolton is goalless currently. In League Two it's also goalless between Chesterfield and Bromley, whilst Tranmere are trailing Walsall at home by 2 goals. Such a busy weekend of action, isn't it? And don't forget that Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist will be back on Talksport Breakfast from 6 a.m. on Monday. They will be reacting to all of this weekend's football, including this huge game here at Old Trafford. They'll also be discussing Mark Gahey's impending move to Manchester City. I wonder if it will be official by then. Here at Old Trafford, though, if you've been listening, what a game we've had. Michael Carrick really getting his players to stand up and be counted. But it is currently Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0, and the second half is coming up next.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Imagine a place where you can escape for a day. Get immersed in a world of rooms, inspiration and expertise. Where you can laze in luxury accommodation. And kids can feast from 95 pence. Tickets are free to everyone and include all the attractions. You've just imagined a day out at IKEA. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
It's another day at Screwfix, and Mo Farah is still getting to grips with things.
So, Mo, with Sprint Delivery, we get the order to them in as little as 20 minutes. Okay? Mo?
Mo?
Done. He was on the 18th floor.
Nice work. But, you know we use delivery riders, right?
Oh, now you tell me.
Sprint it in as little as 20 minutes. Screwfix. No stopping you. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply.
Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone with stadium-style seating, amazing views on huge screens, and we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles the burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there! His favourite ice-cold beer. What a result! Catch every game live in the Pub and Grill at Village. Get in! Find out more at villagehotels.com.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then... substitution. His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Oh, he's really opened up the Sun newspaper there, Jim.
No question, Clive. Straight in the middle and right into the free pull-out goals.
Goals, yes. The ultimate football coverage with the best expert writers. In-depth tactical analysis. Unrivaled coverage from every league and all the latest football action.
Think you've said it all there, Clive.
Sorry, Jim.
Not to worry, I was reading my copy of Goals anyway.
Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday only in the Sun.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a tree, playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Hi, just leaving work now. Sorry it's a bit loud. Basically, so I was thinking we could get Mackey's tonight. Had a Big Mac on my mind all day, and delivery fee on the app is now from 99p. So, you in? Of course you are. Ha, love you. Bye.
Exclusively on the McDonald's app. 18+. Service fee and small order fee may apply. Participating restaurants. Serving times and T's and C's apply.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream a massive month of sport this January on Sky Sports with a Now Month membership. 18+. From our internet terms apply.
Award-winning live football commentary. Game day exclusive. Talksport.
Hello everybody, this is Game Day Exclusive on Talksport. I'm Reshmin Chowdhury and we're bringing you live and exclusive coverage in the Premier League of the Manchester Derby from Old Trafford. Don't forget Talksport's new podcast, How to Win the World Cup, is available for you now on YouTube, the Talksport app, and via your favourite podcast provider. Comedians Matt Ford and Alex Brooker will be speaking to French World Cup winner Emmanuel Petit about Mavericks and how to win the tournament and how he did win it in 1998 with France. New episodes will be available every week between now and the Summers Tournament in America. So it's been absolutely frantic, fast and furious at Old Trafford. It is still goalless though. Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0. And with that in mind, let's get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Oh, Joe Dyer, let's take a breath. That was quite a half, wasn't it? How is it all being reflected in the odds, Joe?
Yeah, it was indeed. It was a first half of a bit of everything, wasn't it, Reshmin? Just not the things, unfortunately, we needed for that treble.
Indeed.
Just a quick reminder on the selections from Sam. It's over 2.5 goals, the draw, and Ahmad shot on target. We do need something big in the second half, but that was a hugely entertaining first half. So let's not write anything off. Just before you switch away from me, just a quick flash look at the big betting markets for the second half. A reminder that pre-match odds told us that Man City were favourites to win this. They went off odds on, and we're going to see goals. Now those match odds are almost parity. It's 2-1 on the United win, 7-4 on City, and the same price for the draw. Goals, it seems slightly unlikely we're going to see over 2.5. One portion of Sam's bet, it's 23-10, and that went off at 2-1 on. So, hugely entertaining first half, more of the same, and hopefully some of those goals will stick.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Joe. Great to talk to you as always. That odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only. Conditions apply. Go to gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Now, following us at 2:30, Adrian Durham will be taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in the Premier League. He's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for Spurs against West Ham. We're already at that point, Adrian. It's being dubbed El Sakiko. But who's going to be Sakiko'd? Thomas Frank.
Well, they can't both lose it, can they? I mean, they're in such terrible form. Actually, Thomas Frank has been quite optimistic in the programme, saying he looks forward to positive things happening in the future, but I'm not sure that's shared by many Spurs fans. But this one today is huge. It's a derby, and they're both down at the wrong end. It's not the only derby. Chelsea-Brentford is Liam Rossini's first Premier League game in charge. That's at 3. Leeds-Fulham at 3. Liverpool-Burnley at 3. Liverpool have drawn the last 3 Premier League games, and Sunderland against crisis club Crystal Palace at 3 as well. So it's a busy Game Day Live.
It really is, isn't it? Thank you very much, Adrian. Great to talk to you as always. And Adrian will be here very shortly, as soon as we finish here at Old Trafford. And players are heading out. There's so much to discuss about this game, but we will bring you the second half very shortly indeed. I just want to ask Stuart Pearce, you were talking about some of the players that Pep Guardiola might turn to in the second half. What's it looking like? Is there any signs of who might be on?
Yeah, as I said to you at half-time, the warm-up was the indicator. Cherky and O'Reilly are on the touchline waiting to come on. Elaine and Sam, who's the other one going off?
Phil Foden, I think.
Phil Foden going off. So Haaland's okay after his injury scare.
Yeah.
And I think Pep had to do something, to be fair. The team weren't firing at present.
They weren't firing. They need a bit of energy. It certainly gets a very energetic Manchester United side. Second half's about to kick off. So I'm going to hand you back. Stuart's involved. Mickey Gray's involved. But I'm going to hand over to Sam Matterface first.
Phil Foden will not be happy about that. Usually comes up with an impact on Derby Day. 8 goals in his last 8 starts against Manchester United, but he's been taken off at half-time. He was pretty ineffectual actually in the game I was at in midweek, and he hasn't scored in any of his last 8 games after scoring 10 goals this season. And Ryan Cherky has come on to make an impact and has actually been a very good and useful acquisition for Manchester City as we get underway in the second half. So the two changes, O'Reilly and Cherky for Max, Elaine and Foden. It means Ake goes into the middle of the defence alongside Kusanov, and O'Reilly goes out towards the far side in the left fullback position. Ahmad testing him early with Dallo, who gets into the box, and it's a lovely ball through the 6-yard box, but there's three queuing up at the far post that cannot finish it off for Manchester United. Ahmad in the 10 position, working it out to Dallo from the right corner of the area. He fizzed the ball through the 6-yard box. Dorgu was arriving at the far post. Fernandez was there as well. Mbeumo was also going towards it, but none of them, Stuart Pearce, could apply the finishing touch.
No, they couldn't. If I'm going to be really, really critical of Dallo, he's done really well. He's fired it across, but could he have put some fade on it with a bit of curl coming back into the forwards? Who knows?
Well, it's still 0-0. I'll go through the 2-11s for you as we start the second half with Manchester United red shirts, white shorts, black socks. Attacking the goal away to our left, the Stretford end with goalkeeper Lomans, who made a good save. Dallo booked at right back, Maguire, Martinez and Shaw the back four, Casemiro and Mainu, then Ahmad, Fernandez and Dorgu behind Mbeumo in attack. For Manchester City, the visitors, Donnarumma is their goalkeeper. In midfield, in front of him, Donnarumma, they've got Lewis, Kusanov, Ake and O'Reilly. Then it's Rodri holding in midfield with Semenyo, Cherky, Silva and Doku behind Haaland. And there was a foul given there in the middle of the Manchester United half, which I don't think Lisandro Martinez was too happy about.
Yeah, I think it was for the previous challenge, Sam. Anthony Taylor tried to play on, and I think he had to pull it back when Lisandro Martinez made a wonderful challenge, I have to say, but it's been a bright start to the second half. I was just looking down at Pep Guardiola from that chance from Dallo, the cross. He just looked at the ground, shaking his head, as if he wanted a brighter start from his team, but it hasn't yet come.
Not yet it hasn't, but Nico O'Reilly is taking the ball down the left-hand side, almost miscontrolled it and invited Ahmad to pinch it. Ahmad has pinched it. He's going down the right-hand side. O'Reilly has brought him down. That's going to be a yellow card for Nico O'Reilly. He's only been on the pitch 2 minutes and 39 seconds, and he's picked up a yellow card after having his pocket pinched by Amad Diallo.
Well, the same pattern as the first half, players dallying on the ball too long, and it was a fresh player to the challenge. O'Reilly on that occasion messed around with the ball so long. Ahmad said, I'll have some of that, and off he went.
Now, I still think we'll have a lot of discussion in the post-match analysis of this game about the possibility that Diogo Dallo could have been sent off in that first 45 minutes for his challenge on Jeremy Doku, and that is one for discussion, I think. Fernandez from the right side with a free kick into the box. It's headed away by Haaland, drops inside the 18-yard box that Manchester City are defending, eventually cleared by Rodri to halfway. Fernandez inside the centre circle out to the left, and Dorgu takes it over the halfway line, and then it's into Shaw, and it goes out of play on this near side. Now, Stuart and I were having a discussion about that potential red card at half-time, and I said to you, I think under the current application of the laws, I was a little bit surprised that he wasn't sent off. I'm pleased he wasn't for the game, because it was a brilliant first 45 minutes, but I think Pep Guardiola will have something to say about it.
Yeah, as you say, in the interpretation of the laws, there's individuals that probably might suggest it was a sending off, but we sit up here, we've not got a vested interest, and we're thinking for the good of the game, stay on the pitch.
Absolutely. Here's Semenyo moving up towards the edge of the area. Cherky trying to unlock the Manchester United backline. Can't get hold of the ball, loses it, then retrieves it and goes backwards. Pep Linders, who is the assistant manager of Manchester City these days, formerly of Liverpool, is clapping and shouting and trying to encourage his team, because I think they felt that first 45 minutes was a little bit inadequate, really. Manchester City. Manchester United, I think, will probably have gone in a little bit disappointed that they didn't establish a lead in the match. It's Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0. This is Talksport, and Ake feeding the ball towards Cherky, who steps over it because he felt that Silva was coming behind him. Casemiro finds Bruno Fernandes, who immediately sends it forward, but Mbeumo was in an offside position. I must admit, he's been playing football at the AFCON, but he looks to me a little bit rusty today, Mickey Gray.
Wait, Mbeumo?
Yeah, Mbeumo.
Well, I still think he's made some very good runs in behind, and his hold-up play's been okay. It hasn't been fantastic, but yeah, you're right. That volley that he had the chance of taking in the first half and passed it by for Patrick Dorgu. I think that's an opportunity a couple of weeks ago that he takes on himself.
Semenyo playing the ball infield to Lewis. Lewis across to Rodri. Rodri back to O'Reilly, who's just in front of the centre circle. Sun trying to peer through the dark clouds above our heads here at Old Trafford, where it's still Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0. We've played 5.5 minutes of the second half here, and City have possession on halfway. Nico O'Reilly turns and fires it back to Ake. Manchester United just trying to pressurise City into making a mistake, and they made a few of those at the back in the early part of the game. Maguire, after the ball is cleared by O'Reilly, forced into an error by Ahmad, picks the ball out of the sky and floats it forward. And Mbeumo is encouraged to run with Ake. Ake gets in front of him, steers it away, but it's going to be Bruno Fernandes who wins it in the middle of the park. He helps it on to Dorgu in the left wing position. He attacks the penalty area. He's got Fernandes to his right. He's got Shaw as an option. Fernandes travels with the ball down in towards the left wing position, gives it back to Shaw. Now Mainu takes over, and then he turns it back to Martinez, and Manchester United now keep possession inside opposition territory. It's good from Dalot, coming in past Doku and feeding Ahmad, who gets up to the edge of the area, gives it to Dalot again, bit more space for Mbeumo, out wide on the right, in towards the near post, headed away by Kusanov as Ahmad slips, and it comes back out of the penalty area. They tried to fire the ball into the ground, Casemiro from midway inside the Manchester City half, but it didn't reach Fernandes. It's come out to Shaw, who gets a back heel from Fernandes, and now he continues his run onto Dorgu, who gets the wrong side of Kusanov, goes down. Referee says he ran across the line of his body and asked for the free kick, and I've got to say, Stuart Pearce, I make him right.
Yeah, he was absolutely spot on. I think it's never easy to referee in the Premier League, especially big derby games like this with the crowd being as volatile as they are. But I think the referee's done well.
Not foul by Dorgu on Rico Lewis. 52 gone. Manchester City with half-time tactical tweaks to try and get them a little bit more into the flow of the game. Pep Guardiola has won 7 of 14 games at Old Trafford in his managerial career. The only away manager to win more, Brian Clough, who won 8 of 24 at Manchester United's ground. So a win today and Pep will join an exclusive club. Here is Semenyo. Down the Manchester City right. Casemiro comes across. Fernandes away. Oh, he's fired that straight to Rodri. And now Cherki in the 10 position. Feeds it to Semenyo. Down the right side. Across comes Martinez. Back to Cherki, edge of the box. Tries to put it through the legs of Kobbie Mainoo. And Mbeumo gets the rebound. And now Ahmad looks to speed forward. Didn't look in his wing mirrors. And Bernardo Silva came from behind and pinched it. And he's travelled up and played it into Rodri. Rodri to Cherki. On towards Doku. And Dalot's given it away. And now Haaland with a chance to shoot. Blocked by Martinez. And over the top of the bar it goes. And out for a Manchester City corner.
Well, we've just seen a phaser play there in front of us that lasted for about 30 seconds. And in that, 3 players give the ball away for either side. And it resulted in an effort at goal. And that's what will define this game eventually.
Corner kick away to our right hand side. Bernardo Silva places the ball down inside the quadrant and prepares to elevate the ball into the box, left footed. It's Bernardo Silva with the delivery. Senna Lomans comes and claims it, and it's very confident goalkeeping. He doesn't punch, he catches that ball. He bowls it out towards the near side. Across comes Kusanov, slides it out, and Brian Mbeumo can't quite reach it. He gets a slap of the hands from his tall, slender manager, Michael Carrick, again, who's just trying to calm proceedings down as Coventry equalise against Leicester City. Coventry have had a bit of a bad run over the Christmas period, hoping to stretch their lead to 6 points with the victory today at the top of the Championship, but they've only won 2 of their last 9 in all competitions. Chelsea women are 4-0 up in the FA Cup against Crystal Palace women, and they're dominating proceedings there. And remember, we'll be round our grounds to give you all the team news in just a few moments. London City Lionesses have taken the lead away at Sunderland in the FA Cup. They lead by a 1-0. Here is Nico O'Reilly over the far side. 5 minutes into the second, 10 minutes into the second half here, as the ball's collected by Doku. Bit of space for Rodri, edge of the penalty area. Slips it to the right. It's Rico Lewis who dances infield. Now onto Haaland. Gets some room to turn, shoot. A block by Maguire, who might well just have overstretched his hamstring there as he did so. He might have hurt himself. The ball's come back out of the penalty area into Bernardo Silva as City continue to apply the pressure. Rico Lewis going down the right side, nudges it into the path of Semenyo. But Lisandro Martinez is alert to the danger, pinches it and gets it clear.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at Harry Maguire, Sam. I think he's okay, but it's always a concern when a player's been out for as long as Harry has and how important he's become to Manchester United. The last thing they need to do is lose your talisman centre-half. City are just starting to get into the game now as it's starting to open up a little bit more.
And the last meeting between the two ended in a Manchester City victory by 3-0 back at the 14th of September. Foden and Haaland scored the goals, but Manchester United have pinched it inside their own half and they're looking to come forward. Dalot just slowed up and invited the challenge from Doku, and it's going to be a free kick to Manchester United on the halfway line. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, as I say, I think
Fernandes in behind the defence, can't get it under control. The offside flag would have gone up eventually anyway, I think. He quickly took the free kick, and again Fernandes just straying.
Yeah, that last United break, I think Dalot and Mbeumo were the two that were breaking, and I think Mbeumo got rid of the ball too quickly, personally. I think he should have held on to it a touch longer.
I think Manchester United have got more weapons on their bench today than Manchester City. It might be interesting to see if that decides the game. Here's Ahmad over on the far side. Lovely ball by Dorgu. Picked up by Ahmad. Left-footed shot. Saved by the goalkeeper. Casemiro is there. It's a double save from Donnarumma to deny Manchester United. A brilliant point-blank range save from Casemiro inside the penalty area. He stumbled just at the last moment, pulled the trigger, but Donnarumma was there.
He's been absolutely vital today, Donnarumma. A couple of times sweeping up behind when the linesman hasn't been able to help the back line out, and a couple of very, very good saves. Once again, this high line from City has nearly cost them.
Well, Ahmad over on the right, cutting in on his left, driving a shot forward, blocked and saved by Donnarumma. And then as Casemiro was closing in inside the 6-yard box to finish off the chance, he got back up and managed to make himself huge enough to be able to stop the second attempt. It came back off of Casemiro and went out for a goal kick. It's a terrific save, Mickey Gray.
Both incredible saves. Call me a cynic if you want to, Sam, but I think he should go to ground, Casemiro, and I think the referee's got a massive call because there's contact there, and in the contact he's got away from O'Reilly. It's a penalty all day long.
That's another one that will be up for debate after the game. Certainly will be highlighted, I'm sure, because every moment is. 58 minutes gone. Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0. And remember, whatever debates you're having now amongst your mates, having seen that first half chance of possibly a red card or the Manchester United opportunities in that first 45 minutes, and you want to discuss them with Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara, 5:30 tonight, the first time you get the opportunity to do that on national radio. 03717 22 33 44. Park your calls now if you want. You can send us WhatsApp and they'll get to them. Here is Cherki travelling down the right side of the Manchester United penalty area, tried to backheel it to Semenyo. It was cut out by Kobbie Mainoo, who's had a very good game actually, I think, in the Manchester United midfield. Back to Dorgu.
I'm delighted to see him back in the fold here and playing in the Premier League, Mainoo. I think for England's sake, if nothing else.
First start in the Premier League since May 2025. Stuart Pearce shaking his head.
I can't believe it's so long. Honestly, yeah. I cannot believe that someone of his talent who come through has lost his way as he has done and not had a start since then. Incredible.
Well, a change of manager, change of coach might well be the thing that he needs. Here's Rico Lewis poking the ball out towards Semenyo, who's down by the corner flag on the near side, the Manchester City right. He travels to take on Luke Shaw. In the penalty area is Bernardo Silva, surrounded by red jerseys. It's very tight and compact on the edge of the box. United shuffle the way out to the far side and City keep hold of the ball, but are now being kept at arm's length. We've played 60 minutes. We're on the hour mark on Talksport, and it's Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0. With Doku in possession on the left-hand side, trying to tease his way into a crossing position. He lays it back to Rodri, who's on the edge of the area, 6 yards back, and now stretching is Kusanov. Kusanov back to Ake, and then Ake looks up, looks to try and find a way to pierce the Manchester United back line. Remember, Manchester United have only kept 2 clean sheets all season against Sunderland and Newcastle. And they're trying to keep the big scorers, the top scorers in the land out today. Let's go off to some of our 3 o'clock kickoffs. We've got team news coming in from the game at Stamford Bridge, a West London derby. Liam Rossignol against Keith Andrews, and watching for Talksport is our chief football correspondent Alex Crook.
And Rossignol makes 5 changes from the side that lost here to Arsenal in the EFL Cup in midweek. James, Tosin, Caicedo, Garnacho and Palmer all come in. Just 1 change for Brentford from their last Premier League lineup as Damsgaard replaces Lewis Potter. At the Bridge, it's Chelsea against Brentford.
Mistake by Mainu, who's given the ball away, and Manchester United have to quickly flex back into shape, and Casemiro gets his mate out of dodge as the ball was falling to Erling Haaland, and that was a little bit of a mistake by the England youngster. Maguire drives forward with the ball at his feet. He weaves away from Doku and bursts to halfway. Ahmad takes over. He finds Diogo Dalot. 62 on the clock. It's Talksport at the Manchester derby. Fernandes infield, slowing the pace of the game down, giving it to Mainu, lending it to Ahmad, and then back to Fernandes again. Dorgu looking to make a run. The ball is sprayed by the Portuguese out towards Shaw, whose bulky figure takes the ball on his chest and then gives it into Dorgu. Dorgu into Mainu. There's a collision off the ball inside the penalty area. Fernandes has gone down. Manchester United trying to find a way to get into the box. Fernandes still on the floor. Here is Mainu, wide of the penalty area. Shaw picks it up, plays it left. It's back into Shaw again. They're keeping the ball on the edge of the box here, Manchester United. Fernandes back on his feet now as Dorgu goes down the inside left channel. He's got Kusanov for company, and Kusanov just sort of brushes him off the ball, wins it and turns and fires it clear, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, in a foot race, I don't think there's many quicker than Kusanov.
Brilliant for Martinez to win it ahead of Haaland, and then back to Mainu, who sprays it to the right. Fernandes onto Amad Diallo, right edge of the area for Manchester United. Fernandes with a chance to cross now. He pings it into the box. Here's Mbeumo. Oh, it's a wonderful save again from Donnarumma. He's fast becoming the star of this Manchester derby. It's a brilliant instinctive save from the giant goalkeeper at just the right moment for Manchester City. Well, now there's a bit of fury because Maguire has been penalised for a foul on Haaland, and they think, the Manchester United supporters, that it should have gone the other way and that he got the ball.
What a game we got on our hands, but once again Manchester City bailed out by Donnarumma. Really good opportunity at the far post there, smashed into the ground, but he got a solid palm on it to get it away from the danger zone. Well, and then on the counter, Haaland, first time we've seen him open his legs and drive, but too many United players in and around him.
Well, Mbeumo from a Fernandes cross at the far post into the ground and saved by Donnarumma. It was an excellent stop again by the goalkeeper, who is fast becoming the story of this derby.
He's in trouble, Harry Maguire here, Sam. The way he landed, the way he tried to make that challenge with Erling Haaland. It's not his hamstring, as we touched on earlier, it's more his knee. His foot gets caught in the ground, and I think Haaland's body weight falls upon his knee. Thankfully, he's back up on his feet. But I'll go back to saying, he's been out for between 8 to 10 weeks. And those little knocks start to worry on a body like that, and you start to think to yourself, is it maybe time to make a change? I hope it's not the case. I think he's done very well today, Harry Maguire.
He has, and he's just walking back into the Manchester United back line. Well, I say walking back, that's probably an overstatement. He's hobbling back into the Manchester United back line to try and keep Manchester City at bay. 65 gone. Cherky's free kick into the area. It's Harry Maguire with the header, and then Mbeumo, and it's 3-on-2 in Manchester United's favour, and they're bursting forward. Now it's 4-on-2, and it's being led by Fernandes, and now it's Mbeumo to finish it. He does, and Manchester United lead on the breakaway. Brian Mbeumo is back from Africa and back on the score sheet for Manchester United, who lead in the 198th Manchester derby. A breakaway goal of rapid speed, and Brian Mbeumo jumps into the air in celebration. Manchester United lead by a goal to nil.
Absolutely outstanding break. They went, 4 players in red shirts flew, but more importantly for them, it was Fernandes, the ball carrier, He's the one who was going to supply the pass. He was the one who's going to put the right weight on the pass. And you knew integrally he had to have something to do with a United goal, and he has done. And Buemo, good run and great finish.
Absolutely fantastic from Manchester United. A breakaway goal at breakneck speed, and they lead the derby by a goal to nil.
Well, this place is absolutely bedlam right now, as you can imagine. And I'm going to pick out Harry Maguire. At the beginning of this move, he was down on the ground, his knee was sore, he's just having treatment in front of us now. The free kick from City comes into the area. Harry Maguire clears his lines to start that break for Manchester United. And what a break that was. Counter-attacking football at its best.
I have to say, over the course of the 66 minutes we've had so far, it's richly deserved by Manchester United, Stuart Pearce.
Without a doubt, their performance today, organised, hard-working, exactly what... If you're going to finish in the top, I think a victory today will put them fourth today in the Premier League. If you're going to finish in the top four, you've got to emulate this performance week in, week out. We've rarely seen it from United. It's been up, it's been down, but this is very organised. I think the coaching staff have gone back to players they think they can trust in Maguire, in Mainu, in Shaw, and it's paying dividends.
Martinez comes across and stops Rico Lewis in his track. Be interesting to see the tactics that they employ now, Stuart, because they've got a lead to defend Manchester United. They've got something to lose in the game. I think they started the match very much in a situation where they had nothing to lose.
No, and as I say, they played with freedom, within a good shape, but I think it won't hurt them going in front because they'll carry on in this same way. City will come onto them and it just might free up even more space behind their back line.
Fernandes helps it on towards the right-hand side, and now Ahmad is racing into the penalty area. He gets down the outside, drives a shot goalwards, it trickles past the post, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. And Manchester United again cause problems for that Manchester City back line, and Amad Diallo this time was the one leading the charge. Manchester United 1, Manchester City 0. Live on Talksport. Let's go off to Tottenham Hotspur. I must admit, I lost who was there in the noise of Old Trafford. So let's speak to Ollie Klink. Here's Ollie Klink who's there.
Yeah, where Conor Gallagher will make his Tottenham debut. Sam Romero and Kolo Muani also in for Spurs following their cup loss to Villa. As for West Ham, 5 changes from their win over QPR. A first Premier League start for new signing Pablo, Areola, Scarl, Souček and Fernandes also in for the Hammers.
This is TalkSport. We're live at Old Trafford. I have to tell you that I was looking at the statistics earlier this week about Manchester City when they concede the first goal in the game. They aren't great at coming from behind. They've lost every match when they've conceded first this season. And they've conceded first in the Manchester derby. And Manchester United supporters are very much in fine voice here. Ball swung out towards the left-hand side. It's collected by Doku of Manchester City, and it's going to be a free kick given against Ahmad over on the far side, who just got a little bit eager in his attempts to win the ball right on the edge of the penalty area. It's a free kick to Manchester City. Currently Manchester United 1, Manchester City 0. Live on TalkSport with the latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can back Manchester United to win the game at 5-2, back the draw at 3-1, or back Manchester City at 11-1. That's all thanks to Betfair, playing a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair. 18+, begambleaware.org. Here's the free kick, a chance maybe for the away side to respond to the damage done by that goal from Mbeumo. It's in by Cherki towards the near post, flicked into the air by Dallo. It goes out for a corner kick. There's going to be a substitution here, and I mentioned that I thought there was more weapons on the Manchester United bench than the City one. In terms of volume, really, there are obviously weapons on the bench for Manchester City, but Matthias Cunha is about to enter the game. Here's again Cherki with the delivery in towards the near post. It goes past Casemiro, and then I think there was some pushing inside the penalty area. Going down was Martinez and Maguire, and a free kick given to Manchester United. Let's go off to Anfield and get the team news ahead of the 3 p.m. kickoff. Right now, Liverpool have dropped into 5th position, but they can overtake Manchester United again if either the scoreline changes here or they win this afternoon, and Matt Jones will be watching.
2 changes for Liverpool from their last league game. Bradley's injured, McAllister drops to the bench, Jones and Ekitike start. As for Burnley, their last top-flight match was that draw with Man United. Tuanzebe and Anthony come in from that game. Laurent and Hannibal drop to the bench. Liverpool against Burnley from 3.
Here's the change. Mbeumo, who has taken the roof off Old Trafford with his goal in the Manchester derby, has been replaced by Matthias Cunha, and he had a couple of opportunities, Mbeumo, before the goal, but when it counted, he did turn up.
Yeah, he did, and I just looked again at the goal and the build-up to the goal. Fernandes does so well with a discreet movement of his body. He's moved the ball to the right slightly, and Kusanov has tracked that movement, and then he's played it to his left. And Kusanov has got no recovery then. Really clever play by Fernandes.
Here is Semenyo. A bit of clever play from him required now as he dances through the Manchester United defence. Guess who's there? Standing in the way. The wall that is Harry Maguire. Dorgu Daughters, and that allows Lewis to pinch it. Into the air it goes. Comes back out on the edge. But across comes Cunha before Bernardo Silva can settle the ball and hit it. And Manchester United defend it well. Right-footed from inside the right full-back position. Dalot clears. Cunha back to Casemiro. They come forward now with Bruno Fernandes. It's a little bit loose from Casemiro, but O'Reilly puts it out. It's a Manchester United throw over on the far side. 72 gone. This is Talksport.
They're playing with spirit, United, aren't they? You know, Mickey, they're really at it at the moment. The crowd are getting behind the team. They've been buoyed up by this performance, and the goals just enhance that performance.
Well, I think the other key thing that we need to sort of illustrate here is that as it stands right now, Manchester City will be 6 points behind Arsenal, with Arsenal having the opportunity to extend that lead at Nottingham Forest later on today.
Yeah, I mean, that's massive, isn't it, Simon? 6 points is doable, but you think any more than that, and we're into the second half of the season now, and probably thinking, and all on the same page, Arsenal are not going to slip up too many times, which is why this was a massive game for Man City today. Look, there's still plenty of time to go, of course, but I think the way that Manchester United have approached this game, look, I'm just going to single him. Harry Maguire has been absolutely immense today. Defensively, starting off counter-attacks, throwing his body on the line, diving at headers that are a foot off the ground when he can get a boot in your face. He's just been everywhere. And it's fantastic to watch.
Casemiro's just got an elbow in the face from Erling Haaland, who's had one chance today. It was blocked by Lisandro Martinez. Manchester United hit the bar through Harry Maguire in the first couple of minutes of the game, and then have gone on to take the lead after several chances. Here's Semenyo, though, coming through the penalty area on the right-hand side as Manchester City look to get back into the game, but he's overhit that pass, and it goes right the way through the box. By the way, that big game between Nottingham Forest and Arsenal, we'll keep you up to date with it with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy on the full-time phone in this evening from 5:30. We'll have updates of that game, and we'll take your calls as well. And remember, all the fallout from what is a massive weekend at the top and the bottom of the Premier League this weekend will be with Jeff Stelling, Ali McCoy. It's Monday morning, 6 o'clock. Talksport Superstar Breakfast doesn't get much better than waking up with the boys 6 o'clock every single morning. You've got Jeff and Ali Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Friday. Adam Brazil is back in the chair. So make sure you tune in to TalkSport, set your alarm, turn on the radio. It's the best way to wake up. 1-0 to Manchester United here. What's happening at Sunderland Stadium of Light? TalkSport's Graham Courtney.
Yeah, and a bit like Mbeumo at Man United, Sunderland have players returning from AFCON. They make 3 changes from their defeated Brentford. Dingra, Geertruida and Rigg drop down to the bench. Mundell and, back from Africa, Siddiqui and Reynildo. Palace, couple of changes. Gay and Canvo are out. Lerma and Richards come in. It's Sunderland Palace Stadium of Light.
Interesting. Back here, it's 1-0 to Manchester United, leading Manchester City courtesy of that goal from Brian Mbeumo. It's Rico Lewis on the attack though, and he's been dispossessed by Dorgu here, and Dorgu's getting away, and Rico Lewis has got himself booked because he's tugged him back and decided that Dorgu will go no further, and it is going to be a yellow card. Mike McCarthy is at Ellen Road with team news.
3 changes for Leeds and a big one in goal. Lucas Perry dropped in favour of Carl Darlow. Bogle and Okafor also start with Statch and Bion missing. New signing for Kundo Buonanotte on the bench. For Fulham, 2 changes. Lukic and Sessegnon come in for Diop and Kearney.
Remember, we're around the grounds with Adrian Durham from 2:30 this afternoon. And interesting, that team used from the Stadium of Light does include the fact that Jean-Philippe Mateta is in the starting lineup despite links earlier with a move to Italian football in the Championship. Coventry 1, Leicester 1. Ipswich 2, Blackburn 0. Watford 0, Millwall 0 with 20 minutes to go. The Women's FA Cup, London City Lionesses lead Sunderland by a goal to 0 going into stoppage time. And Chelsea 5-0 up now against Crystal Palace. In League 1, Cardiff are winning. Wigan and Broughton are drawing. In League 2, it's 0-0 Chesterfield Bromley. And Walsall are 3-0 up away at Tranmere. As the ball comes into the penalty area, looking for Dorgu. And Dorgu gets on the end of it to finish it. Cunha's cross, after dispossessing O'Reilly on the right-hand side, produces a ball into the box. And Dorgu comes sneaking in at the far post. Manchester United take a 2-goal lead, and on the day that Manchester is at its most divided, it's the red half of the town that looks united. Patrick Dorgu, maybe a surprise inclusion today, scores Manchester United's second goal, and they lead with 15 minutes to go by 2-0.
Well, that goal probably encapsulated the difference between the two teams today. Dorgu wanted it more than Rico Lewis. He drove in front of him and prodded it into the back of the net. And City don't look as though they got a response to this.
Well, this is astounding, isn't it? Michael Gray, our Manchester correspondent, you've watched them. There was no chance of Manchester United scoring a goal there. Their centre forward had the ball down the right-hand side of the penalty area. There was no one to aim at inside the box apart from Patrick Dorgu. Cunha has gone down the right. Now, is Dorgu offside in the build-up? I don't think he is. Cunha's gone past O'Reilly too easy. He's beat them. There's 4 Manchester City players inside the penalty area as the ball comes in, but it's Dorgu who makes contact.
He's braver. He wants it more. But Matheus Cunha, in a 1v1 situation with Nick O'Reilly, he thought he had him as a fullback, and that little nick just in front of him to get his cross into the 6-yard area. Look, there's 3 players around Patrick Dorgu, and Rico Lewis just switches off.
Here is Semenyo on the right-hand side looking to respond. A ball in towards the near post, sided up by Harry Maguire. It cannons out towards the near side, and it's taken infield by Kusanov. Back towards Rodri, prodded away towards Mainu. He's helped it forward. Manchester United lead 2-0 against Manchester City. And they're up into the top 4 of the Premier League as a result. Kusanov slams the floor in frustration. Pep Guardiola picks him up. They're going to make changes here with Reinders and Ait-Nouri about to come on. Might be 3 changes actually, because it looks like Makassa is also going to enter the fray. So who are they going to switch out here with O'Reilly playing the left back? Ait-Nouri going to play further up the pitch. Ball thrown in from Shaw on the near touchline, given away, picked up by Bernardo Silva on the halfway line. I mean, it's a bit of a surprise result, but nothing surprises you with Manchester United.
No, and I think there's a response from United down there. Ugarte will be coming on for Casemiro. They just give Casemiro a shout to go down to ground to get play stopped, but he won't have a chance to do that.
Lewis tries to bundle his way into the box. It's away by Martinez. They just want it a little bit more, I think, Manchester United. They just have that fire in their belly today. Here is Semenyo, right side, trying to tease his way into the box. Challenged by Dorgu. Fernandez picks it up. It goes back towards his own goal, but he gets tricked. He thinks he should have a foul. He doesn't get one. Cherki challenged on the edge of the area, but Manchester United still fighting for it. Rodri trying to hold on to it, goes down. Casemiro is penalised. It's going to be a free kick. Luke Shaw's gone down the edge of the area as well, off the ball here. That'll be a concern to Manchester United. Michael Carrick just about to bring on Ugarte. And a free kick is given to Manchester City, and they make changes with Reinders coming on for Bernardo Silva. That's the first change. Second change is going to be Rukasa to come on. The teenage midfielder who signed from West Ham. He started 3 League Cup games this season, but this is an opportunity in the Premier League for him. And Ryan Ait-Nouri coming on, and Doku going off. And Erling Haaland being taken off. And listen to the glee of the Manchester United fans as the striking Viking goes off having only scored now 1 in his last 7 Premier League appearances.
Yeah, he's not had too much of a contribution in the game. It's been very difficult for him today. No supply line, and the odd challenge he's had to hold the ball up, United have dealt with him particularly well.
Casemiro goes off, and on comes Ugarte, and Manchester United's latest change. Manchester City now made all 5 of theirs, and the last few minutes of the Manchester derby, the last 10 minutes of the Manchester derby requires powers of magical recovery from Manchester City.
Well, Casemiro making his way off as it's his testimonial.
There's still 10 minutes to go, and that is a long time in the Manchester derby. 2-0 Manchester United lead on Talksport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly like this game live right now with Now Sports. Here's Cherki's delivery into the box, headed forward by Ake. Offside flag is up against Reinders, and it will be cleared away.
He was certainly milking that substitution, Casemiro, wasn't he? He's probably been at this club for quite a while now, Sam, and maybe waited for a reception like that. But it was fantastic, and he's been a part of Manchester United today. Look, I hope that they now don't try and sit in and soak up pressure from Man City until the full-time whistle, because I don't think they're that type of team who can do that. I think you have to be possession-based, and I think Man United, the way they've approached this game, the diagonal's been the best friend today, with Patrick Dorgu and Ahmad in the wide areas, being able to run it behind Man City's fullbacks, and they've basically had more joy than the wide players than Manchester City today. And I know the goal didn't come from that, but the counter-attacking football has been excellent from the red side of Manchester today.
Amazing, really, when you think about it, that Antoine Semenyo could have gone to Manchester United, could have been a Manchester United player today. Instead, he elected to go to Manchester City. He's had a good start, really, scoring in his first 2 starts for the club, but he hasn't had much of an impact, actually, today. But he's not the only one in blue to feel that. Senna Lomans sends it long. And Donnarumma, actually, ball helped on by Fernandes when it was dropping from the sky, and Rico Lewis had to react because it was going into the path of Cunha. Goes all the way back to Maguire. Maguire down the right-hand side. Manages to chip the ball into the wing position. O'Reilly away, taken down by Cunha. Cunha travels forward, and now it's Dalot far side. Into Ahmad once again. Ahmad turns it back into the path of Shaw. Shaw with a chance to nudge it on. And Dorgu now takes over, runs into Rico Lewis and loses the ball, but Shaw wins it back again. And Lewis is struggling here because he was backpedaling and he's not 100%. Fernandes takes over, onto Kobe Mainu, weaves his way past Rodri into the penalty area, then slips as he tries to take on Kusanov, and then the ball spills into the arms of Donnarumma, and they clear it away. 7 minutes gone, Manchester United 2, Manchester City 0, and we've got 7 minutes to go before the conclusion of the match, and 7 minutes before a precious 3 points could be earned for Manchester United, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, and not only that, it's breeded confidence within this stadium as well. You know, new management team down on the technical area there, Messrs Carrick and Holland, and they've set this team up, and I think they've done a wonderful job today. On what I've seen with my eyes, you know, they've been magnificent. There's a work ethic amongst their team. The forward players have helped out the defensive ones and vice versa, and they've been certainly by far the best team on this pitch.
It will be a dream start for Michael Carrick if it continues like this. It's Reinders down the right-hand side, though, popping the ball through the 6-yard area, and Aït-Nouri can't get on the end of it, and he takes it out of play over on the far side as Millwall take the lead away at Watford in the Championship. A tussle between 5th and 6th in those Championship playoff positions, and Millwall have taken the lead away from home. 84 minutes gone. Bolton have taken the lead in their game in League One against Wigan. And here it remains 2-0 to Manchester United. And on a difficult day for travel, actually, a lot of people struggle to get up to Manchester because of the train issues today. It's absolutely jam-packed, 74,000 inside this stadium, and it's been in brilliant voice, it really has. Cunha down the left, beating Lewis and getting towards the edge of the area. He goes on the outside of Kusanov and takes it towards the corner. Manchester United keeping the ball inside opposition territory. Lovely touch and then feed in towards Fernandes. He then goes down under pressure from Rodri, but Fernandes escapes with the ball again. Down the left he goes, travelling by the penalty box. Mainoo's there for company. Fernandes keeping it away, tries to play it against Lewis. Mainoo's got it back again, and then a foul is given against Fernandes. I'm not entirely sure what the referee's done there. That was a little bit fortunate. And City have a free kick deep inside their own half. I mean, when we go back and look through some of the performances, Donnarumma has played really well. Maguire's played really well. Fernandes has been a star, I think, in possession of the football, set up the first goal. Dorgu actually has played well on this left-hand side further up. He's a guy who's played in 4 different positions in his last 5 games, and he might be in behind again here. Kusanov trying to get there first, and he does just accelerate in time. And the offside flag is up against him anyway, and it'll be another free kick for Manchester City away to our left-hand side.
Well, they've got to take risks now, Sam. City, if they're going to get anything out of this game, they've just got to try and get themselves into the match as quick as they possibly can, which is important for them. But I just think overall, individuals have had a day off today. 2 wide players, Erling Haaland, I think you mentioned 1 goal in 6, which is unlike him. He looked a little bit tired in midweek. I think he looked a little bit jaded today as well. It's like the weight of the shoulders is on him at the moment, because he's the man who gets the goals for them.
Here's Mukasa under pressure from Harry Maguire with another strong tackle that sends the ball out to the far side. Reinders cuts in on his right foot, looks to get the shot away. Out to the left it goes for Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri goes outside Dalu, can't get the cross in, comes back to the edge of the area, and Cherki feeds it in towards Mukasa, and then Rico Lewis spoons it over the top. But Harry Maguire with an intervention in the build-up to that opportunity, just pushing the ball around. I mean, he's been fantastic today. He's been like a bouncer on Deansgate on a Friday night, hasn't he? Manchester City just haven't been able to get past the velvet rope.
Look, I think, not whether it's a Manchester derby or any derby that any ex-player's been involved in, what the managers will say to you in the dressing room, Sam, and it's probably in every single dressing room, is win the battle first. And United have done that today.
Coventry lead against Leicester. Haji Wright with the goal. 5 minutes from time on Talksport 2. Absolutely huge for Frank Lampard and his team. If they can hold on to that, they'll stretch their lead at the top of the table to 6 points. Millwall lead Watford by 2-0 now. And remember, we've got more EFL action for you on Talksport 2 from 2:30 this afternoon. We've got all the goals as they go in with Adrian Durham at the same time here. Here is Rodri, forward up towards Semenyo. Semenyo into Cherki under pressure from Fernandes. Mainoo wins it near touchline and turns out of a tight spot. Fernandes onto Cunha. Cunha into Dorgu. And he plays the ball against Rico Lewis. It's a Manchester United throw as we go into the 88th minute of the game.
As I say, even though City are losing this game, I don't feel there's too much pressure on the United goal at all.
Well, there hasn't been much, has there?
No.
Really and truly, Lombard's haven't had to do too much. And now Manchester United are coming again. Ahmad is at the far post if they can find him. But the delivery from Fernandes is too close towards Donnarumma. And it's bowled out to Nico O'Reilly, who is encouraged to come forward here. He bounds over halfway. Manchester United lead by 2-0. O'Reilly sends it out towards the far side. Aït-Nouri cuts it on his right foot. He stumbles slightly. He plays it back in towards Cherki, who clips it over the top. It's collected by Reinders. Reinders now with a chance to cross the ball into the area. He doesn't do that. He waits. He hesitates. He pushes it down the byline towards Ryan Aït-Nouri. It then cannons off a Manchester United body and comes back to Reinders. He's crossed into the box with a deep one. It's headed away by Luke Shaw, and Kusanov tries to keep it alive, but Shaw is there again, and he heads it out to Dorgu, who's knocked down, but Manchester United might be able to counter-attack here, and Ahmad has been played into green grass inside the City territory. He's cut in by Ake. He's into the penalty area. It's Ahmad to finish it. He's hit the post. It comes cannoning off the frame of the goal. And Manchester United are denied a clinching third goal by the woodwork. Excellent run from Ahmad, who got in behind the defence. He danced away from Ake. His right-footed shot smashed against the post, Mickey Gray.
It's just sensational.
Here's Cherki into the area, exchanging passes with Mukasa. And again, Manchester United bring it clear. And again, there's space to run into. This time for Dorgu, who moves up towards the halfway line. Fernandes has got it now. We're into the 90th minute. He swirls it out towards Ahmad, who keeps it alive far side. Cunha now. 5 minutes of added time at Old Trafford with Manchester United in control, but Bruno Fernandes' control letting him down, and the ball goes out on this near side and away for a throw-in. They're going to make a substitution here, Manchester United, as they go into stoppage time, leading by 2-0, and Luke Shaw is being replaced by Aidan Heaven for the final few minutes of the game. And Shaw...
What a game we've had on our hands, haven't we?
Fantastic. It was just the way he just come inside past Ake, who, by the way, is a Champions League winner. And he smashes the ball towards the near post. Donnarumma was beaten, but the post stopped it from 3-0. Would have been a terrific goal. Mason Mount coming on as well for the final few moments, and I think that means the end of the day for Bruno Fernandes, who's going to get a standing ovation for his performance, which has been absolutely stellar.
Yeah, he certainly had some contribution for his team today, there's no doubt. Fernandes, he's absolutely excellent. I think he's been
absolutely terrific, and he was the one who created the opening goal with that wonderful little feint and move. His body shape, the way he just drifted to the right and then passed the ball to the left, caused all sorts of problems. Here is Ahmad intercepting a pass and feeding it through to Cunha. Cunha's onside here, racing through. He feeds Mason Mount for the third, and Manchester United have a 3-goal lead in stoppage time against City on a day that they've turned this City red again. Another brilliant breakaway goal from Manchester United, and Mason Mount has a Derby Day delightful smile on his face, because Manchester United lead by 3-0, and Manchester City have absolutely no answer. 3-0, and Michael Carrick is beaming from ear to ear. He's only been in the job for 92 minutes, and he's already got a landmark victory to his name.
Yeah, this one's just being checked for offside, but it looked a really clinical breakaway once again. Movement in behind that back line, a static high back line, got picked off once again, and probably it's no more than United deserve.
It's absolutely terrific. Again, it's Ahmad who gets hold of it. He gallops over the halfway line. Cunha is way onside, by the way, as he's fed the ball. Now, whether Mason Mount is behind the ball, which he is, when the ball comes across, it means this goal will be absolutely fine, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, absolutely. I just worried because Mason Mount, when the ball was played through to Cunha, he looked like he was in an offside position, but as the ball is played inside of the 18-yard area, he keeps himself onside. And as Stuart mentioned that, it's all United deserve. The way they've approached this game, the way they've attacked at Man City, they've used the counter-attack, and they've been absolutely fantastic. They really have. Listen to this place.
Well, we're still waiting for the goal to be cleared. I mean, I can't see an offside offence in the build-up to it, Mickey.
Well,
Gray.
we just don't want another 4 minutes and 51 seconds, do we? Because that's just ridiculous. But we've seen it in the replay. Surely in the VAR they can see it as well. I think it's Craig Pawson today.
Yeah, it is.
It's a goal.
It's a goal. Anthony Taylor still waiting to get the instruction from the VAR. I mean, the glum looks on the face of the City players looking on tell the story.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, they're going to chalk it off for offside.
Wow.
Well, the only thing I can think of, Sam, is in the build-up, as I mentioned, Mason Mount is in an offside position when the ball's played through to Cunha, and he's still involved in that build-up play. That's the only thing I can think of, because when the ball's played across to him, he is onside.
Well, he wasn't. He didn't receive the ball,
yeah, exactly,
or interfere with play. Well, I'm bemused by that. I thought, well, I don't know. They change the rules every week, and apparently we're not supposed to be looking for ways to rule out goals. We've ruled out one here, and Manchester United are denied. The goal has been disallowed for an offside in the build-up to Mason Mount putting it in. So it's only 2-0 to Manchester United, but 3-0 wouldn't be flattering. Ball into the box from Manchester City, headed away by Dorgu. Almost came through to Semenyo. Back out towards Rico Lewis and then into Cherki. Cherki goes down the outside. 95 minutes play. Dorgu with a brilliant block. And then a good slide tackle from Aidan Heaven puts it out for a corner kick on this near side. Remember, the Talksport app is the place to be if you want to listen to breakfast, if you want to listen to our great podcast, including How to Win the World Cup with comedians Matt Ford, Alex Brooker. They're talking Mavericks with Emmanuel Petit this week, and it's well worth a listen. Here is Matthijs Cunha out on the near side, trying to keep the ball in play, can't quite do so. Manchester United 2, Manchester City 0 with Talksport and Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. 96 minutes have been played. Rodri, who's toiled a little bit, tries to give the ball back to Ake. Manchester United fans in absolutely brilliant voice, because they know that right now the Michael Carrick era is about to experience the perfect launch event. Mainu trying to stop Reinders coming forward. He eventually does it the second time. Then Dalot digs in to get it clear. Ugarte away to the far side. This is the first defeat that City have suffered since they were beaten by Leverkusen. And there still might be another moment yet. Ahmad was offside again. I mean, if Manchester United actually had kept on side today, they probably would have had 5 goals, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, I think probably that's one for the coaching staff next week, timing of runs, you know.
Well, they've got a lot of time on the coaching pitch because of the fact that they're playing the fewest number of games in 111 years. There's the full-time whistle. Old Trafford roars like it hasn't in years. Pride restored, belief rekindled. Michael Carrick's era gets off to the dream start. A 2-goal deserved victory over their City rivals and one of the best teams in the land. Carrick's men make Manchester red again, just for today maybe. The defining moments from Mbeumo and Dorgu. It will have the streets of Salford singing and the echoes rolling down Deansgate. The city's heartbeat, raw, restless and red once more. There's a lot of work to do, but it's a great start, and for now, Manchester United rise above the noise, proving that in a town built on reinvention, glory is only just around the corner. This afternoon at least, the blue moon fades into the shadows, and once more, the red sky shines over Manchester. Patrick Dorgu and Brian Mbeumo take the acclaim, the goal scorers on a seismic afternoon at Old Trafford, where Manchester United have beaten Manchester City by 2-0.
Wow. What a game we've just seen. Sam, thank you very much. Summed up brilliantly. And we just saw Michael Carrick there taking the applause of the fans. And I tell you what, these players are going to soak that up for as long as they can, and they absolutely deserve to. Michael Carrick coming in, barely 3 days in the job. He's taken this team to a huge victory against their bitter rivals. Remember, Manchester United lost 3-0 in the reverse at the Etihad, and they've come up with this incredible victory today. It's not just the way they played, it's the way they conducted themselves, it's what it meant, and it is the relaunch under Michael Carrick. Where it goes from now, who knows? But that man, Pep Guardiola, is gallantly walking over to the remaining City supporters that are in the away stand. It's been a bad day at the office for the mighty Pep, the man who just seemed to come here and always have a big swing in his step, because he's come up triumphant so many times here at Old Trafford. Not today, not against Michael Carrick's Manchester United, not for today at least. City were unbeaten in 13 games in all competitions coming into this. It's come undone on the 14th at the worst possible place at Old Trafford. City had beaten Manchester United at Old Trafford in their last 8 of their last 14 Premier League games. It's come undone on the 15th as well. What a day for Michael Carrick. I've got to ask Mickey Gray and Stuart Pearce. Mickey, I'll start with you. I mean, you're always in and around the Manchester clubs. How big is this for Michael Carrick?
Well, are you watching Ruben Amorim? I'm surprised I haven't heard that from the Manchester United supporters, Reshman, because they have seen a Manchester United performance today. And that's what it takes to play for a club like this. If you want to be winning trophies, it's not just against your fiercest rivals and your local rivals. That's what they've got to do every single week now. And as Sam mentioned there before, there's no distractions of Carabao Cup, no distractions of European football or FA Cup. There's no excuses not to go out there and put a shift in like that every single week. They were outstanding today. And Sam mentioned it should have been 4 or 5 today. It was brilliant.
It really was very, very good from Manchester United. A little bit disappointing, I think, defensively for Manchester City. But this result is massive for Manchester United, but it's absolutely seismic for Arsenal.
It's an incredible result.
Absolutely. You look at that title race, Stuart, and Manchester City could not afford to drop points today. Already 6 behind with 16 games to play now for them.
It's certainly, as I say, 3 draws coming into this. Now, nothing from this game for City. Arsenal will be the ones just rubbing their hands together at the moment. But let's not take anything away from Manchester United. Their performance, the performance of the management team, setting this team up. They worked harder. They got players back doubling up. There were some wonderful performances in the United ranks today, and a performance that we've not seen for some time.
It wasn't just that Manchester City were out of sorts. They really were outplayed, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they were. I think the tactical approach of United was good. They turned it over. They ceded very few clear-cut chances on their goal. And when they turned it over, especially early on in the game, they played that ball in behind City, and Donnarumma cleared up a couple early on in the game. They had the ball in the net a couple of times with marginal offsides. And to be fair, at the end of the run of play, over 96 minutes or so, probably 2-0 flattered Manchester City, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's interesting because it was about 31.6% possession, so almost 32% possession for Manchester United. But I think, Michael Carrick went into this game knowing that that is how the game would pan out, and he executed his game plan perfectly, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, Reshman. And I think when you come up against a Manchester City team, you've got to try and nullify the threat, first and foremost, because you know how many goals they get. Top scorers in the Premier League. If you can nullify Jeremy Doku and Semenyo, which they did brilliantly today, then the service doesn't get provided for somebody like Erling Haaland. Rodri didn't have his best game. It's very difficult to criticise somebody who's been out for so long, but he gave the ball away on occasions today. He looked a little bit leggy in the final 10-15 minutes of the game. But when Man United won the ball back, they just pounced on City. It was counter-attacking football at its best.
Yeah.
And if you got Bruno Fernandes in your team, who was outstanding again today, dictating from in between lines, and he's got runners ahead of him like he did have today, then Manchester United can punish you. But as I mentioned before, this is one game, Reshman. It's one game. And we're all talking about Man City losing the gap between Arsenal at the top of the table. Manchester United at the moment are in the top 4. It was a huge game for them today, and everybody looked at their fixtures. Michael Carrick taken over. Oh, we've got Man City. Oh, we've got Arsenal next time out. We're not going to get any points from them games. Well, they've got 3 already.
Yeah.
Now they go into the Arsenal game, and they've got that confidence up. They've got the new manager. They've got that new bite in the place. The training ground's going to be buzzing all week. That Arsenal game now becomes winnable.
Absolutely, it does. And when you've got a figurehead like Michael Carrick, he's so... I mean, the football, as you said, we said it at half-time, didn't we? Are you watching Ruben Amorim? Penny for his thoughts, and you said it at full-time as well. Even his demeanour is so different to Michael Carrick. And I wonder if that in itself has given the players the confidence to express themselves. I mean, he brought the likes of Kobbie Mainoo in out in the cold against Ruben Amorim, and look at the performance he had. We mentioned Bruno Fernandes, but a word for Kobbie Mainoo as well, Stuart.
I was delighted to see him back in. Sam said earlier, first start since May.
First Premier League start since May.
League start since... Quite incredible. And what you do as a management team, you come in and say, who are the ones that we know? You know, Stevie Holland would have known a lot of these from his England time. Who are the ones we know? Who are the ones we can get a connection with very early on? All of a sudden, Shaw's in the team, Maguire's in the team, Mainoo's in the team, all individuals that he knows particularly well. And to be fair, that was the basis of their team performance today.
Got to clear up the Mason Mount goal that was disallowed at the end. Cunha offside in the build-up. It looked like his left knee was just ever so slightly ahead of play. Right decision, or are you surprised?
Oh, come on.
Go on, Sam.
That's a no from Sam.
Tell us what you really think.
I mean, honestly, I'm furious about that goal because, see, this is what we were talking about in midweek, you know, the idea of doing that forensic analysis to find that reason to disallow the goal. This was, what about the tolerance? What about the 5 centimetres of tolerance that we've been talking about? You know, we do all of the research, we speak to the VARs and the officials, and do you know what? I just thought that those days were gone, but apparently not. And it's, you know, that goal at the end, that puts a seal on what was a fantastic triumph, and I honestly don't see a proper reason to disallow it. If we're not going to be slaves to the laws, if we're going to give the advantage to the attacker, if we're going to have 5 centimetres of tolerance, then what on earth are you ruling that goal out for? Anyway, it is irrelevant apart from the fact that was a moment of joy that should have been celebrated.
We've seen so many of those, though, haven't we, Sam? But I've got to ask, I mean, something you mentioned in commentary, and, you know, it will be picked up yet again, the booking that wasn't given for Dalot. Would that have had any bearing on the game if that had been given? Do you still think that is a point of contention?
I don't think it's a point of contention. I'm glad he stayed on the pitch. Would it have an influence on the game?
Massive.
You're damn right it would. You know, it changes the game absolutely, totally. The mindset of United going down to 10 players against City, it would have changed the game. I think the referee and VAR got that correct, in my opinion.
Let's not forget as well what game we've just had in front of us, lads, as well, and Reshman. This Manchester United against Man City, you want a bit of fire in the game, Reshman. Yeah, we don't want to see players getting hurt. And it was quite early on in the game, and I think we called it quite right. Look, he made contact with the ball, and I think there was a little bit of follow-through from Diego Dalot. But I think the right call was made at the end of the day. Well,
I just say, just because I noticed.
But we want to see him on the pitch. 11 v 11 in a derby game like today, and we have absolutely loved it. The atmosphere in this ground today, I've not heard it like that for many a season, I have to say.
It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? What a game we have just witnessed then at Old Trafford. Manchester United 2-0 winners against their bitter rivals Manchester City. Of course, Michael Carrick's first game in charge, and it really could have been so much more, couldn't it? Let's pick our man of the match now, shall we, with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here for It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
It's been so breathless. I don't know if Mickey and Stuart have had a chance to talk about it. And I know that we always go to Stuart, but between the two of you, can you be aligned with this one?
Well, I think Stuart's going to go for Bruno Fernandes. I don't know.
I am, and I think you're going to go for Maguire.
Yes,
so we're going to leave that one with Sam now to decide.
Oh, Sam's got the deciding vote. Go on then, Sam. Pros and cons. Who's going to get it?
Do you know what? I thought Bruno Fernandes was absolutely terrific today. But without Harry Maguire, it would have been a very different game. I'm going to do this. I'm going to give it to them both. I don't think you can split them. Fernandes and Maguire.
Splinters.
Look at that, yeah. Oh dear, well there you go. Do you know what? I don't think we've ever done that before. So that was our Here for It hero, men of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.